and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do miss something, remember, I got you covered. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the program with limited commercial interruption. Email the show if you like, JCS at 979 ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for mobile devices. All of them. Every last one of those mobile devices. Get your WTSM app.
Even my pager?
Yes. Still got one, do you? Remember that was all the rage for a while there? People checking their pager, their beeper. Whose beeper? Keep beeping and beeping. And then finally we're on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube, where you can see me wearing my Purdue shirt. Yeah. Let's go Boilermakers.
You're a Boilermaker fan. Drew Brees, Mike Allstott, Kyle Orton.
Painter. Mike Allstott was good there, yeah. He was a good player there.
Neck roll, man.
It was a big, and he didn't need it, too. I told you one time that up in Chicago, I went to Soldier Field and saw the Bucs play the Bears and went down to right by the field level there as they were all warming up. And Mike Allstott had the biggest, most muscular ass I've ever seen. I thought to myself, well, how does anybody tackle that man? That's just ridiculous. It was absurd, Tom. I couldn't stop staring at it. It was something to behold.
Everybody.
Come here, guys.
Come here.
Look at Mike Allstott's ass, would you please? Look at that thing. I mean, it is one of the wonders of the world. It was something special. It was unbelievable. I really did in the moment because, you watch guys on TV, you can tell they're big guys, and you're like, oh, well, it's a big dude. Well, that's a big dude's out here trying to tackle him. But then you go and you see somebody up close and personal, and you go, oh, well, that's my goodness. How does anybody deal with that? And all these guys are freaks. If you ever get a chance to stand anywhere near Cam Newton, he's so freakishly big and athletic, it doesn't make any sense. Like, his calves are the size of your thighs. Like, they don't make any sense whatsoever. You're like, well, who in the world is dealing with that? That's ridiculous.
Some guy who's 6'7",
who has to be
220 pounds.
Equally freakish. Yeah. It's nuts. Hey, that's not how I wanted to begin the show today. I did want to begin the show respectfully and make a note here of apparently one of the great guys in Roy Halladay's passing at just the age of 40. It is heartbreaking when you see these stories, and we got off the air yesterday, and that came down, and I thought, oh, no, I'm almost certain I remember reading that he was a dad, and he is, and it's just heartbreaking. My good friend that I often reference on the show was in attendance the night he threw the perfect game against the Marlins. And was that 2010? I think that was 2010.
Sounds about
2010.
Right, yeah.
And discusses it all the time. I mean, he's seen some pretty cool things. He's been a part of no-hitters, and he was at Yankee Stadium when the Marlins won the World Series and went down on the field. So I always defer to him when these moments, and he's been around great ball players. He's seen several Marlins throw no-hitters. And he talked about Halladay's and just the stuff he had that night, and how it was just, you couldn't take your eyes off of a guy that was dominating. Sure, the outcome shows that. But sometimes you'll see perfect games and you go, well, there were 4 or 5 really hard hit balls and, it's right at people or whatever it might be. And sometimes you get weird, like no-hitters with 9 walks. You see. But the stuff Roy had that night, he's like, hey, nobody's thanks for playing. There ain't nobody getting a hit tonight.
Man, he was in a class by himself for a good 2 or 3 seasons there between the end of his time in Toronto and then obviously when he moved over to Philadelphia, where it was him and it was everyone else, even with Santana at the height of his powers. You name it, whatever pitcher you want to name in those days. When he was on,
you were done.
You had no chance.
One thing, too, to say, and again, I never met Roy Halladay, so I don't know him as a person, but like everybody else, I read a lot about what his former teammates had to say yesterday, and managers, and anybody in the press that did deal with him, and Jason Stark and Tim Kirchin, amongst others, really touching tributes to him and talked about what a professional he was, what a kind man he was. That perfect game that I'm talking about, first of all, it took 2 hours and 13 minutes doing some things. And secondly, and that was the 20th perfect game, by the way, in Major League Baseball history. 3 months later, he ended up giving every one of his Philadelphia Phillies teammates, all of the coaching staff, the entirety of the training staff, and any other support staff that worked with the Phillies that he knew and touched and talked to and worked with on a regular basis, beautiful watches, 60-some-odd watches to commemorate the moment. And he had inscribed on the back of those watches, "We did it together. Thank you so much, Roy Halladay." So that just makes me want to cry thinking about what a good guy that is. I mean, and not just because he gave out watches because he had the means to do so, but it kind of lends a little insight into who he was, the way he operated, and how to treat people.
Yeah, he was a different person, for the 4 days in between his starts. And then on the day of his start, he was noted for being, a red ass, completely lost in his own world with an intensity that was such that nobody got in his own way or in his way. And he would intimidate his own teammates. But I can tell you little anecdotes, but I'll stick with the generality. He lived 2 or 3 neighborhoods up from me in Palm Harbor when I was in high school. That's where I moved in high school, was this area called Landsbrook in Palm Harbor. And he lived in a neighborhood called President's Landing. And that was one of the neighborhoods in the way, way back that had the gates, And the word was around town that if you were an adult looking for an autograph, it depends on the day. But if you were a kid,
all day long,
he made time for everyone who was younger. And he really got the idea that baseball players are seen as, hero types. But if a kid has a passion for the game, he's going to make sure that the kid has a memory that's going to carry him as a steward of the game for a long, long time.
It's interesting. Toronto fans will hold him near and dear to their heart because he was selected by Toronto in the 17th pick of the 1995 draft. Good selection, Toronto. He won his first Cy Young Award as a Blue Jay. He made 8 All-Star appearances. 6 of those were in Toronto. He had 148 of his 203 career wins as a member of that organization. But, of course, it's interesting to see how many people from the Philadelphia Phillies also would like to call dibs on Roy Halladay, and obviously because of what he achieved there. But also player after player, coach after coach, no matter who you talk to, no matter who you read today and yesterday as you're trying to catch up on who Roy Halladay was as a person and competitor, they talk about him as being the centerpiece of that franchise, kind of the crown jewel through 07 and 11. Halladay's 32 years old, more than 2,000 innings worth of mileage on his right arm when Amaro acquired him from Toronto in 2009 for Kyle Drabeck, Travis d'Arnaud, Michael Taylor. Cole Hamels was a budding ace at the time. Halladay arrived, and everybody knew that he was the ace. There was no other person. It was going to be him. And set the tone with his work ethic, known for grueling workouts at 5 a.m., desperately wanted to win. Moreover, would tell friends, teammates, trainers alike that it wasn't just about winning baseball games, which is what you're paid to do and go out there and attempt to do, but it was also preparing to do so. A lot of these guys who achieve greatness and excellence in their sport, at least, on the field of play, the all-timers seem to have that in common, don't they? It's not enough to win. It's not enough to go and do what's necessary to win. They're chasing down perfection. As Jimbo Fisher likes to say, there's no such thing. You'll never be perfect, but along the way you'll run into excellence. And they want to dominate. And everything I can read today from all of these players and talking about his legacy was that nobody worked harder than he did.
Yeah, and this is something that hits close to home, not the tragedy that was yesterday, but that talking point. This is something we talked about last night at the Man Cave show at Ology, which is a great place in Midtown Tallahassee.
Good time, yeah.
They're not paying us to say that. They're just first-class, really, really nice people there welcoming. So if you're in the mood for a craft beer. And I appreciate Matthew filling in yesterday because I'm still,
a little under the weather, yeah.
But we were talking about the all-time greats and then how when, the interview happens a couple weeks ago and you talk to Jimbo about who's the Telvin Smith, and he said, well, those are some of the all-time greats now. The frustrating thing is, well, if it's not in them in the beginning, you can kind of get it out of them. Perhaps you can mold somebody to be that type of leader that when something goes as wrong as it does this year, you have a player who's, issuing the checks and the balances. And right now, the upper class doesn't seem to be doing that. But one thing we were talking about last night is you got a couple of young players that have that little extra in preparation, in finishing the play to the echo of the whistle.
Right.
They want to impose an extra fear in their opponent. And that's something we saw this past weekend. Cam has had that from the beginning. Cam Akers will run you over, and then he'll talk to you about it. But Stanford Samuels has emerged as one of those type players. Levante Taylor, I know he's not a freshman, but he's a sophomore, younger player, has a little bit of that in him. As we're approaching the final days of this regular season, man, that's one thing I'm hanging my hat on is I see a couple of young players in this system that when the older guys are gone, they're going to take command, and hopefully they can instill that same type of work ethic and preparation that can help us from a player-to-player standpoint go back to where we were just a few short years ago.
Yeah, I'm hoping to, and we shall see. Right now, though, I would say that it's a weird week. Obviously, I begin the show by commemorating Roy Halladay and the life he lived and unfortunately saw snuffed out at the age of 40. But obviously it's a difficult segue to get into Clemson talk this week, but for more reasons than just that. Not just that it's awkward, and it's that we're already doing what you just did, which is looking to the future. And yet this game is here on the horizon. It's here in just a few days, and I'm not excited about it. I'm not going to come on the air and lie to you about this. I'm actually kind of dreading this football game. And obviously it's relative. It's a game. It's a sport. It's a football game. I got it. I mean, we'll be all right on Sunday. It'll be okay. But from the standpoint of we're passionate about this program, we're passionate about the wins and the losses and everything, that goes into trying to achieve that, and the reaction after suffering losses, etc. Normally, I find an angle. I find something that I am, I guess, really looking forward to about a particular game, whether I think we're going to win it or not. There are many things that I'm looking for week in and week out, and it could be a lesser tier game, and I love the game of football, so there's always something. I hate that the most persistent thought that I've had this week in attempting to talk about this game against Clemson is that I'm really worried James Blackman's going to get hurt. And I mean that not in like a fatherly sort of way, I guess, maybe that's part of it, but in that I've seen more than enough evidence that suggests we simply will not be able to block Clemson. And he's already taken a ton of hits against teams that aren't half the defense that Clemson is. And he's a skinny kid, and it's been a minor miracle that he's been able to get up. He also, as a true freshman is wont to do, holds the ball too long. Some of the sacks that he suffered in this last game, for example, against Syracuse, I can think of two specifically, are all on him. It wasn't the offensive line. It wasn't the play call. It was on him. And so his penchant to hold the ball too long, our inability to consistently block it up, at times Jimbo's insistence on letting him sit back there, having to read the whole field out of the shotgun and throw the football and letting routes develop 4 and 5 seconds. I mean, I really worry he's going to take some shots here that he's not going to get up from. And he's been such a competitor. It hasn't always gone well this year for him. He's been thrown into an untenable situation. You lose your best offensive lineman. You've had receivers that could have really aided your development get hurt. This season's gone amok, so you have some guys check out. I'm not always so certain that the coaches have been at their best. Let's put it that way. And yet, in spite of that, he hasn't been terrible. There's every reason in the world for him to have been terrible. Now, he's not lighting the world on fire, but he's a true freshman who certainly should never have been out there this year. And I think we see enough signs that he's going to be a good player that I just knock on wood that we don't see that growth curtailed from a beating on a Saturday at Clemson.
I heard you guys on headlines yesterday talking about this very thing, that are we really going to draw conclusions about the true freshman quarterback as to what he is or what he isn't, given his performances this year?
I can't stand that email. I get that email 2 to 3 times a day, and I'm sitting there thinking, what are you doing? There's so many other places to look at before you get to James Blackman.
Right. And to me, this game plan has to be as tightly orchestrated and choreographed as any in his young career. Typically when you're talking about going against a quarterback and you're looking at it from your defense against their offense, you'd say you got to get him off his spot. You got to move the mark and get him to shuffle his feet in the pocket. For me, I'd say that's the offensive goal this week. No way, man. You're not dropping back 5-7 steps and then, sitting back there for 2 and 3 seconds making a decision. And you're not going to be able to do that consistently without getting hit. So you got to move him. He's got to be all over the damn place. He's got to be rolling to his right. You may have to roll him to his left. Maybe you get the screen game going. Whatever it is, quick game. Listen, there are going to be limitations in how much you can do against the perimeter speed of Clemson's defense, even with that game plan. That's why we think we're not going to win this football game, and it's probably not going to be close. But the game plan has to include those elements, or else if you think that 4 and 5 wide, the way we did against BC, after the first couple of drives. You think that's going to cut it? Man, you're
going to
asking
get him
this
hurt.
kid. Yes, then here comes Cosentino.
Well, let me just say, and by the way, that's a big body Cosentino has. You're almost tempted to start him and run the damn option. I know that's absurd, but I mean, just really, you're almost tempted to do so. Again, you look at this situation. I harken back to the Duke game. Jimbo had a plan in place that I really lauded. I know he only scored 17 points in that game. Should have been a lot more, but also just the game plan itself, not the results, just the game plan. I thought was spot on with a young quarterback and a shaky offensive line. And you got real strength at running back. You've got inexperience, to say the least, under center. So, to me, you roll them out, you cut the field in half, you buy time. You hand the ball off, you try to go with big personnel, cut the field in half, limit the amount of exposure, play action, roll outs, move in the pocket, run the football, try to flip fields, do what you got to do there, and hope like hell your defense goes out and balls. I mean, that this defense, which is talented and has remained, for the most part, injury-free, can go out and play the way that they did against Alabama. That's the recipe here, is that they go out and care deeply and fly to the football, play with emotion and passion and discipline the way they did against Alabama, and give the team a chance to be in the game in the second half. A lot of other things have to happen. As you just said, Clemson's going to have to turn the football over. I firmly believe that. I mean, if we're actually talking about winning the game, which I think is very far-fetched, but if we're actually talking about winning the game, you got to get help. But it's college football, and teams provide other teams help all the time. Kids make mistakes, put the ball on the ground, ill-advised throws, you name it. They have a lapse and focus on special teams. Any number of things can happen. You're going to have a few of those work in your favor on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I think it's vital if you want to win the game that your left guard is 74. But the good news today is that Jimbo declared Jacques Patrick a go. So at least if you are in a passing obvious down, you have somebody you can put out there that you can trust to protect the quarterback. That's one thing. I mean, Cam is so spotty at right now.
Yeah.
But Jacques you can lean on. So not only do you have the 1-2 punch, but you have somebody who can protect James Blackman just a little bit better. And if you're going to win this game, you need every inch you can get, right? All of those inches. We need them to add up.
Oh, boy. Again, it's our job to talk about this game and to talk about the program and a number of other things. But every time we do these days, I get that uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach, especially this week. It'll be less so, obviously, against Delaware State, Tom, where I think we can block it up and protect the young man and get out of here with another home win. But
that'd be 2 in a row.
Yeah, my goodness. Katie barred the door. We're just having a big day. I would just say, though, that if you have the lapses that we've seen from this team on the road this Saturday, I worry for the kids' health. So it's sad that I'm sitting here going, maybe – keep that clock running, shorten the game, try to get out of here with a 31-7 loss. Let's get out of here with our health and a 31-7 loss. A little dignity in that. We can move on. I think that's something. Not good.
One more. I got one more song.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Milwaukee's special promotions going on right now at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Purchase an M18 Fuel 2-tool combo kit and receive your choice free. M18 Fuel 4.5 to 5-inch grinder, 7 1/4-inch circular saw, or M18 Fuel Sawzall. Also check out the Milwaukee accessory add-on promotions. Buy Milwaukee Sawzall blades and use e-rebates to get a 30-ounce stainless tumbler, pack-out toolbox, or M12 hacksaw kit. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, the largest Milwaukee selection in the area. 2 locations, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. 97.9 ESPN Radio would like to congratulate Rickard's Nydia Donaldson, November's female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month. Nydia Donaldson is a member of the Advancement via Individual Determination AVID College Preparatory Program, National Honor Society, and Green Dot Youth Program for Bullying Prevention. Nydia serves as captain for the Lady Raiders volleyball team, leading them to the regional playoffs for the first time in over 5 years. She's an outstanding student, maintaining a 4.0 grade point average while taking challenging advanced placement and honors courses while being dual enrolled at Florida A&M University. As the November female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month, Rickard's Nydia Donaldson is now qualified as a finalist for the Dale Jr. $2,500 End of the Year Scholarship. To help support our friends at Dale Jr., check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
Monster Energy, welcome to Rockville. Florida's biggest rock experience has returned. April 27th, 28th, and 29th with over 50 bands, including Foo Fighters, Ozzy Osbourne, Avenged Sevenfold, Queens of the Stone Age.
Like the way you used to do.
Welcome to Rockville, the biggest 3-day rock festival to ever hit Florida. April 27th to the 29th with Foo Fighters, Ozzy Osbourne, Avenged Sevenfold, Queens of the Stone Age, Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch, Breaking Benjamin, Stone Sour, Greta Van Fleet, plus the one and only Billy Idol. Go to WelcomeToRockvilleFestival.com for all ticket, VIP, and festival information. Foo Fighters, Ozzy Osbourne, and so much more. Welcome to Rockville, fueled by Monster Energy Drink.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
But this will be a weird thing to say. You can let the music play while I do it, just underneath. Seems kind of fitting. You see me drinking, if you're watching on YouTube, out of this Starbucks cup, but it's not Starbucks. Not that I have anything against Starbucks. But rather, I'm on mushrooms today. Now, you might say, good Lord, Cameron, you can't admit that on the radio.
I knew it. He's been on mushrooms for 20-odd years.
So it's mushroom and chaga and something else, coffee. Perfectly legal, I assure you. And I like it. I like the way it's making me feel, Tom. I feel pretty good. It's all right. No, it's not. I'll get the box. You guys are going to be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll get the box here in a moment, which I left out in the kitchen there, and tell you exactly what it is. It's got chaga. It's got some other something and some mushrooms and caffeine.
So you feel good right now, but that means by 4:30, when we do a little beer 30, I'll just yeah.
Look at the planes.
I like how soft the feeling and the lighting in the Seventh Hill Tap Room is.
Always,
man.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to read a good article on Roy Halladay, and I referenced at the start here, remembering him. There's one by Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports, and he writes a touching piece on what mattered most to Roy Halladay. It couples not only his successes on the field, but who he was off the field, and some quotes from many heartbroken teammates upon hearing the news of Roy's passing yesterday. So it's just insightful. It's really good. I'm not going to dwell on that because it'll just continue to bring you down.
At least we have this football team to lift us back up this weekend.
Well, if not them, the Bucks. Sweet Jesus.
Oh, buddy.
I know.
It's been a year.
What a year. What a freaking year. You know what? Maybe that's why you can't wait to go to Rockville in April.
Ooh, segue.
Caller 2-523-3776. A pair of tickets to Metropolitan Park in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome to Rockville. All right. Hey, everybody, up next, Breaking Benjamin. So this is what you got.
Is that Andy Reid over there? Smoking a cigarette, eating a chicken wing?
Yeah, there's one called Bullet for My Valentine going to take the stage on a Sunday.
Great.
The Fever will be there as well, along with Spirit Animal. So you've got some big names in Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age, and Billy Idol. That's a good day to be there. That's on that Sunday.
What's your spirit animal, buddy?
I don't have a spirit animal. I think I would be perhaps, let's see, what would I be? Spirit animal. That is... I don't know why, but I want to say sloth because I like them, but that's not my spirit animal because I'm too active to be a sloth.
That commercial with the it's not
Sloths
charades.
are awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah, where it's just a straight line.
Just a straight line.
That's good.
That's well done.
No,
yeah.
I like sloths. I really like armadillos, but that's not my spirit animal. I feel bad for them. They're forever getting run over. They're cute little creatures.
A long time I said penguins, but then you find out what they do to each other. Good
They
God.
can be mean.
They're worse than humans.
Well, that's impossible. But nature is...
they got trafficking and all kinds of stuff going on.
So do we. Is fierce. But, yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to go with a spirit animal would maybe be an elephant. I feel for them too, man.
Because you've never forgotten 2012 NC State on
the
road.
And I never will. And I remember what I was wearing when it happened. Yeah, no, probably an elephant.
We were up north side for that. Remember that? We had a watch party for that game.
I do remember it, and I remember being very, very, very angry. It was a ridiculous game, but that's not what we're here to talk about this afternoon. No, nay, not at all. There is more to talk about. In fact, there are Twitter questions that we've been receiving lately that I've largely ignored, and in these shorter segments, I ought not do that. I ought to answer some of them.
Hashtag a-hole.
Ralph writes, Jeff, do you think Jimbo is burnt out? I think it's a fair question.
Hashtag a-hole.
And it's direct. I like how succinct you are, Ralph. Not fooling around here. Let's get to the point, Cameron. Is that man burnt out or not? What's going on?
I can do this.
I don't know if he is or not. I think he hates losing, and I think it shows. I think it's wearing on him. I think he's testy these days, a little terse with the media, perhaps not the funnest guy to be around in private either. But that'll happen when you're 3-5 and you're getting questions on a daily basis about your program, about your system, about your process, things you hold near and dear and that have always been successful. And when they are no longer as successful and people begin to second guess you personally as opposed to things outside of your purview, then it's gonna, I think, hit you where it hurts most.
I like to envision in my head that he and Jameis have shared a phone call between Sunday and now, where they're just yelling at each other about the problems they have in their current situations, respectively.
Yeah.
And then it goes on for about 10 minutes, and they're just kind of yelling simultaneously,
right.
too.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, he goes, how's Breezy Boo? She doing all right? Yeah. She's good. How are the kids? They're great. Love you, man. Love you, man.
Click.
Click.
Yeah.
And then that's it. There was no hello either.
Probably how that would go. Yeah, they just saw the other's number. They knew. Yeah. No, I think. Yeah, tough times. Tough times for some guys that aren't used to failure, and I really do believe that that's more than anything else. What has got to be eating at him is that it leads you to second guess something you thought you never would, which is in this case yourself and everything you've used as a guiding principle to lead to this success, to this job, to your status amongst college coaches, which coming into the season certainly was amongst the elite. I wonder, in time, because what happens now is you feel like coaches are always under the gun. Coaches always feel like there's not enough time in the day, not enough time in the week. Their practice time is, in actuality, due to NCAA rules, limited. And so there's all these things they want to do, but they're up against it. But I think it takes on an added element when you're losing and you're trying to stem the tide, and there are some things you're going to have to implement, some things you have to do differently, but many of those things can't be gotten to or changed until the season ends. And you can make some hires, and you've got to get out in front of it. And I imagine it's frustrating to try to get your team prepared to play football games, win some of the remaining football games, get bowl eligible, sustain a streak, and yet still utilize your off time to be reaching out to those coaches you're going to be inquiring as to their interest.
Yeah, I think there's something that's really important that needs to happen between now and, say, New Year's too, and that's if Jimbo is in fact going to largely replace his assistants.
Yeah.
He's going to have to address the team himself personally. And however that conversation is molded will really be the first impression of the new era. If it's what tenor do you take, in that moment? Is it about accountability and discipline? Is it about, you know what I mean? Like it's very important. It's kind of like what we're talking about with Tampa. All right, your GM right now is in a powerless position because he has no contract for next year. So he can't make a definitive statement about, the job outlook for the head coach because his outlook is just as in question.
Yeah, bleak situation.
So the important thing is for the Glazers in that moment, whatever moment that is in the next couple of months, they've got to make a statement. They've got to appear before the media and let people know who the coaches are going to be, who the general manager is going to be, and what the direction of that organization is going to be. But if Jimbo is going to be making wholesale staff changes, or even if it's significant staff changes to just 4 or 5 coaches, he's going to have to directly talk to the players before the new guys come in about why it happened, about what's going to happen from here on out.
And it will
critical too.
It will all start with him being able to hold himself accountable, express that in a meaningful way that relates to the players and connects to the players. And I don't think he's above that. I think he will do that. I do. I mean, that's the part of me that holds out hope he's capable of making the changes necessary to get this right, is that I do think he's capable, because he may not acquiesce to the press. He may not, on bended knee go out there and tell everybody that he made mistakes, but he'll do it for his players. I think he respects players and coaches immensely, the time, the dedication, everything that is involved with readying yourself to coach and play in a football game. That whole process is sacred, and he has been of it for so long that, he will humble himself in front of a fellow coach or player. He will do that because he admires and respects them. So I do, especially his guys. He's a father figure at times when he talks about those guys. You hear it, and I think that's why he's such an effective recruiter, is that they relate to him. I mean, Florida State hasn't had great season after great season after great season every year he's been here. They've had some, but they've also had some disappointing campaigns. None as profoundly disappointing as this one, but some years where they weren't able to meet expectation, and yet he's always been able to bring in great classes. One of the fears you have right now in the midst of the turmoil and the losing and the frustration is that you're losing some guys here in this class, and you're starting to look like a team that may not come in where you thought you were going to come in recruiting rankings. And right now, they don't have a quarterback, Tom. I think they put their eggs in the basket of Fields, didn't get him, and they need bodies. You'd like to think it's going to be a star player they're going to bring in here at that position, but they're not. And you might say to me then, well, it's hard to do when you're trying to salvage a season and you're going to be making coaching changes. Well, fine, but he's the quarterback coach and head coach, so, I mean, he's going to be here. You could at least bring in a quarterback.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting case study, too, given whenever he makes these decisions, because this is also a new year. You have a December signing period now. This is brand new to the college recruiting game for football. Basketball is an early signing period, but not football until this season, and that is right around December 20th, I believe. It's like the 20th to 22nd, somewhere in there. So you've got to have the message ready to go for those kids who are thinking about either early enrollees and coming in the spring, or guys that just want to shut it down. We're done here. I know where I want to go. But if his primary recruiter is gone, like, what's that message going to be like in those 2 weeks? I mean, this is critical for the program's health. For signing day, sending a message into the spring, into fall of next year, December 1st to December 25th, right there are going to be a critical 3.5 weeks.
Well, you could go an awful long way in changing the mood and the feeling around this place if you go and play great on Saturday and find yourself in a position to win a game and then go and win the next two, which would be Delaware State and Florida. And then obviously you reschedule Louisiana Monroe. I don't care how weak it is on paper. You will have won 3 games in a row at that point. You will be bowl eligible. You'll start to feel a little bit better about yourself and feel like there's some forward momentum, and you can carry that into the recruiting efforts, perhaps. I again will reiterate something I said yesterday. Losses and wins happen for a reason, and they affect mood, and they affect future games and recruiting outcomes, etc. So these games, even though we think the season is a wash, are still very important. The basketball team played last night against an NAIA opponent, Thomas University, and obviously Florida State romped. We'll talk about it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
How I love to super lube my car, yes sir.
Football season is in full swing, and so is AAA One Transmission. AAA One Transmission is locally owned and operated by Tim Pridgett, who's been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 37 years. Brakes, transmissions, electrical systems, tune-ups, and battery checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA One Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
Recently, by an overwhelming margin, Floridians voted Amendment 2 into law. People all over the state who are suffering from conditions like cancer, seizures, or chronic pain are now legally able to seek out alternative natural treatments. The doctors at MMT Clinics of Florida specialize in evaluating your medical conditions to see if you qualify for this care under Amendment 2. To find out if you qualify, visit mmtcfl.com to fill out a simple survey or make an appointment. Again, visit mmtcfl.com to get started.
The new Fox and Stag, Tallahassee's local craft cocktail bar in the heart of Midtown on Thomasville Road and 5th Avenue, featuring a newly expanded liquor menu including limited release scotches, whiskeys, and bourbons, as well as unique spirits distilled right here in Florida. If wine is your thing, swing by and try one of Fox and Stag's hand-selected bottles from their ever-expanding wine list, or simply enjoy one by the glass paired with a charcuterie board or delicious small plates. Sometimes you just want a cold beer, and Fox and Stag has you covered too, with rotating drafts and bottles sure to quench your thirst. Come by for a drink and stay for the company, Tuesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. For catering or private parties, message Fox and Stag on Facebook.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4-DRDELAY. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay.
As a Marine serving in Afghanistan, I conducted logistics patrols in some of the world's most dangerous places.
The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program helps U.S. military veterans like Jacob Dietz gain the education and training needed to transition into civilian life.
When I came home, I was ready for a new mission. The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship is helping me get a degree in electrical engineering. Help a Hero took a load off me and my family.
You can donate to Help a Hero at all participating Sport Clips locations. Just ask your Sport Clips stylist or look for the Help a Hero donation box. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate $1 for every haircut. That's what we call making your cut count.
My name is Jacob Dietz, United States Marine, and I'm saluting you.
Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. To learn more about the Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program, visit sportclips.com.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Well, there is only one reason I stop in this place. Let me stress it, it ain't the cuisine. The eggs are all running, the hash browns smell funny.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. You can always email JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Feel free, fire away. Our director got sidetracked. We were very concerned.
Well, we all wear many hats in this building. You're not wearing a hat today, though.
No.
Have you decided what you're going to do? I mean, the cold weather is somewhat
rapidly approaching, buddy. I don't know. I'll figure it out when the weather comes. I'll get that hat. It may just be a beanie. We had a lot of suggestions when I said I needed to find a signature hat for my bald head as the wintertime comes in here. I look like a hippie today if you're watching on YouTube. I got crazy amounts of hair on my head right now. I got to shave this sucker as soon as the show ends.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's unruly. People are going to see me thinking I've given up on life. Got to get it together, Tom Wayne. Should have said something to me. You know, I didn't mention yesterday that Florida State will host ULM on December the 2nd in Doak Campbell Stadium. That, according to Stan Wilcox yesterday. The game was rescheduled after the original date. Of course, you know that. And Coach Fisher said he appreciates that and all that good stuff. The kickoff is set for noon. Shocking. And tickets and parking passes previously issued for the original September the 9th game will be honored. So fans, please come on down December the 2nd. Yeah, championship weekend where the Noles take on ULM. Over under 36,000 fans at that game.
I think it depends if we beat Florida or not, right? If we lose to
For
Florida,
bowl eligibility, they're all flocking to Tallahassee.
I think that might have, move the needle just a little bit more.
I don't.
You know what I'd do? First of all, we said it last week that we need to start selling beer at Doak Campbell Stadium right now.
And then I'd book Slayer.
Well, that would be cool.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
A lot better than this sad sap country dude they got rolling in here for Delaware State.
What I would also do is on the big screen, I'd put on the championship games. We're not playing in them, but it doesn't mean we don't,
That's
want to
cool,
watch
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Hey, what if you could
something to aspire to?
Set up your lawn chairs after the game is over, set up little picnics and whatever, and there you are. We'll go quad box, for the 4 championship games.
Take it to the quad box, folks.
That would be pretty cool.
I just like saying quad box. It would be so fun to be in that control room. Roger, hit the quad box.
Well, it's like the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting with an Octobox here. 7 hours of professional football.
Remember when I interviewed that cheeseball?
Yeah, it's incredible. He's more normal sounding when he's actually on the air than he is when he's off
the air. Good to be with you, Jeff. It's always a pleasure to talk to a fellow broadcaster. Yeah, it can be tough.
I do have to use the bathroom
every day around this time, but I keep going. He's he's something. Last night's FSU exhibition basketball game took place. Maybe you went to it, maybe you didn't. I didn't. Aubrey Boyd Foundation did benefit. That's always a good thing. And the Noles won 122-52. Get you some of that, Thomas. You like that there, Thomas? Come in here and get your beat down. 122-52.
Stick him in your mouth and suck him.
Yeah. Thomas University wants nothing.
Stick him in your mouth and suck him.
You want none of it. So that means likely Final Four appearance. That's what I took from the game. I don't know if you guys did, but when I looked at the numbers, I said, this kind of adds up to a Final Four run. 44 of 70 from the floor for Florida State. That's 63%. And included 12 of 28 from beyond the arc, which is almost 43%. And another 22 made baskets, which were either dunks or easy layups. Thomas, we got to get back on defense, Thomas.
Stick him in your mouth and suck him.
What are we doing out here? It's like us against Louisville on the road last year. We got to get back on defense, guys.
This freaking board's tired. I hit the button and it's like, no.
We've done too many of these.
Okay, fine.
Florida State forced 31 turnovers, which led to a 42-4 domination in points off of turnovers. 42-4, Thomas? Good Lord.
Stick him in your mouth and suck him.
You gotta tie those shoes, kids. Let's go. This is terrible. You're out here just stumbling about. 11 blocked shots by the Noles. Got to put some arc on it, Thomas.
Stick him in your mouth and suck him.
Now, I'll grant you, their tallest player was 6'7", but no excuses. Not when you step between the lines. All 16 Noles who played scored at least 2 points, and that included 3 walk-ons. 10 players scoring at least 7 points. High scorers were freshman Raekwon Gray and that Iko Obiagu guy. Yeah, and he had 12 points. The court time was evenly distributed. And that's, hey, there you go. So, Final Four. And Thomas will not be joining us in that Final Four.
Stick him in your mouth and suck him.
It's also known as Thomas University. I should also mention that MJ Walker and other guys that you're going to need to see play, like, for example, Trent Forrest didn't play. He's missed both exhibition games, quote-unquote, with a bone bruise. And we'll see. Going to need him to get right. And Terrence Mann, of course, is still here, lest you forget. Terrence Mann, at the age of 41, posting up on Thomas last night, making it happen. Okay.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers.
The Terrence Mann. Nicely done. Last year's starting 5, lest you forget, were XRM, Bacon, Mann, Isaac, and Ojo. This year, you would probably go with C.J. Walker, Savoy, Tom's favorite player, Mann, Kofor, and Kamaji. That may or may not be perceived as a drop-off
Okay.
from last year's production.
Where are we getting Cobb and Jail in the mix there? Let's get Cobb and Jail out there on the floor.
I think we got some things, man. Get some working it out.
Man, we play a game that counts on Tuesday.
And I was about to get to that. I'm very excited because now we're going to find out just how great we are. You like the phrasing there?
Just how great.
Just how great we are.
We know we're great.
Right. Just how great we are. We host George Washington at the TLC Double C at 7 o'clock. That is on Tuesday. We will be there. Yeah. Little choo-choo action. Then we fly to Jamaica to play Fordham, who wants none.
That's right, Montego Bay.
And then Colorado State in their exempt tournament, the Jamaica Classic at Montego Bay, as Tom just pointed out. So I'd like to go to that, but I'll be here prepping for the big Delaware State game.
You know what kind of stinks is I usually leave town for Thanksgiving time. You know, I go down to Tampa Bay. That's the big family
See the
holiday.
family, yeah.
Well, yeah, because, you know, with the kids and
Everybody
stuff.
gets together.
Everybody stays at home for Christmas.
With
you
the
know,
turkey.
Under their own trees for Santa and all that stuff. But we have a game the night before Thanksgiving, and we have a game the day after Thanksgiving right here in Tallahassee. We're playing Kennesaw State on Wednesday and the Citadel on Friday.
Boom.
I get screwed out of 2 home games.
You're not going to go?
Maybe I'll be up in time for the Friday one.
Yeah, got to come back for the Friday one, buddy.
I'll be in Tampa Wednesday night.
I was thinking about rolling down to cover this team against the Mighty Gators.
Yeah?
I don't know. I've been going to that game for the most part for like 40 years. Feels like I should, especially if it's for our chance to get to 5 and 6 and have an opportunity to maybe.
Did you go 2 years ago for the Smag to Kerr throw?
No, I did not go to that game.
I know you're at 13.
Yeah, I was 13 for sure, yeah. I didn't go 2 years ago. I don't know why. Did we go to a watch party? What did we do? No. I think we tried
I was in Tampa. No,
we typically try to check out and spend a little time with the family around that time. But
when we play in Gainesville, because we got to be back here for the Friday show on location when they're here in Tallahassee.
That's
but
right.
If we play in Gainesville, I usually take a couple of days there and spend some time with the family, yeah.
Ride out. I may go down there. Like I said, that may be the first time ever, short of a tragedy, like a national tragedy or even a local tragedy at one of the universities, it may be the first time that I'll park the car, get out there in Gainesville, right on University Ave, start making my way over to the stadium, and witness Florida State and Florida fans hugging one another. Just how you doing, friend? Are you hanging in there?
We know, man.
We know.
Oh, we know.
Oh, we know.
Well, we know more than you know.
I know you know.
No, you don't know like we know.
You knew before we knew when you were 4 and 8. We've never had to know this, but now we know what you've been going through.
Yeah, but then you're arguing about who has it worse,
Yeah.
and so the hugs turn into shoves.
Well,
and then here we go again.
What you've done is you've created an opportunity to slight Florida by saying, we've not been in this position before. Can you tell me how you dealt with it when you were in this position just a couple of years ago? I mean, what was it like for you when you were going 4 and 8 and losing to Georgia Southern? We have not been in this position ever before, but you have.
What is the Gator fans' playbook for a situation like you're going through right now?
And you had many of these that I can think of here in not too distant past. So why don't you talk a little bit about what that's like?
But we already have 4 wins, so we're looking to get our 5th today. So, and then we're going to win next week.
Florida plays South Carolina this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
That number is at 7.5.
Oh, it's okay. Okay.
That hook hurt you.
Well, it was at 7 yesterday, and I just decided to leave it be.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and place a bet based on the fact that I think Florida has called it a day. If their effort versus Missouri is any indicator, that little spike they were anticipating getting from the great Randy Shannon leading them into battle against Missouri didn't happen. And therefore, it won't happen again this weekend against South Carolina. So here we go, Gamecocks.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Bandito's Burritos, my friend?
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Doctors operated on Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson's right knee today. He tore his ACL in practice last week. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports doctors did not find any additional damage to that knee. Teddy Bridgewater is now off the PUP list and on the active roster for the Vikings. He's trying to come back from a dislocated knee. To make room on the roster, the Vikings put Sam Bradford on injured reserve, ending his season. ESPN's Brady Henderson reports defensive end Deion Jordan will likely be activated for tomorrow night's game against the Cardinals. After injuries and suspensions, Jordan's last NFL game was back in 2014. UCLA basketball players LeAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill won't play in Friday's opener against Georgia Tech. They're now out on bail after being accused of shoplifting at a Louis Vuitton store in Hangzhou, China. Basketball Hall of Famer Bob Knight says he has never been a Wooden fan. Talking about fellow Hall of Famer John Wooden, Knight says on Audience's Undeniable with Joe Buck that he did respect Wooden as a coach.
Sports Center is brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, Wednesday through Saturday, select Doctor's Signature khakis are just $36.99. Or get 50% off select Arizona and St. John's Bay apparel. Plus, get $10 off with coupon when you spend $25 or more. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. And a fine Balls Make Wednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's always. If you miss anything, go there and get caught up. All 3 hours posted on iTunes and our own audio vault. You can email the show if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNRadio.com. Find me on Twitter, at JCameronShow. WTSM app is good for your mobile devices. Doesn't matter if you have an Android or an iPhone. You're good to go either way. JCS at 979ESPNRadio.com. The email address on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. College Football Playoff Committee with their top 4 again being Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Clemson. Oklahoma follows at 5, followed by TCU, so we'll get some resolve there. Miami's at 7. Wisconsin is there at 8, and followed up with Washington and Auburn. Rounding it out, you got a great game between Georgia and Auburn this weekend. Number 1 needs to look out, in my opinion, for this game. I think we're going to see a game that is potentially the one that unseats Georgia at number 1. Now, I'm taking Georgia because that number, from a gambling standpoint, is small. It's under a key number, which is 3. I'll take 2.5. That's fine, but I'm not in love with this game. Probably not going to play it in my personal life. Auburn plays good defense. Georgia hasn't had to throw the football. I mean, they have chosen to throw the football in some situations and still won the game going away 5 to 7 times. I mean, it's amazing. But you're protecting a freshman quarterback with a very good run game, very good offensive line, and a great attacking defense. So you're smart. You're smart to do it that way. But Auburn's good enough to shut some of that down. They're going to make you throw the football and have more success in the air, and that'll be interesting.
There's a couple of things here. Now, Georgia has resembled Florida State from the good years, the better years, where they seem to have a bit of a killer instinct about them. It's not quite the same as 2013. What team really had that other than Nebraska in the 90s?
Yeah.
But they have that little extra to them. But at the same time, I say that this game means so much more to Auburn than it does Georgia, because Georgia's going to be playing in the SEC title game no matter what. So let's say they lose this game, right? But they beat Kentucky, they beat Georgia Tech to close out the season. Well, you win the SEC title game, against Alabama, or a rematch against Auburn. If Auburn was to pull off, a big-time win this weekend and then a stunner in the Iron Bowl in a couple of weeks, man, all you got to do is take care of business after this week and win the game in Atlanta, and you're going to the college football playoff. So, in a sense, this is kind of a freebie. So, if I'm a Georgia fan, I was talking to my family up, in the Atlanta
Well, they're
area.
all keyed up now, yeah.
They're keyed up for this game. I said, listen, I would be too, because undefeated seasons are kick-ass. Trust me, we know about that down in Tallahassee a little bit. Had a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Regular seasons, had 3 of them. But, if you lose it, it's not the end of the world. Auburn, however, has an SEC loss already. So for them to have any prayer of making an unlikely run to the playoff, which is what they believe right now, they have to beat Georgia, beat Alabama, and then beat Georgia again. And then that's how they make their case. So, I think the motivations, Auburn needs this more than Georgia does.
They do, but they're also living a fantasy world if they think they're going anywhere. They're not. even if they beat Georgia.
Well, they have to be living in that world. They're competitors. I mean, damn it, man.
I guess. Anyhow, they're not that good. I just think that the situation sets up nice for them this weekend.
But if you want to lie to yourself and have hope
it's
that
the right
you get
thing to
lucky
do.
and you beat Alabama, well, then if you could beat Georgia twice, then you're 11-2 and you've beaten top 10 teams 3 times in the final month of the season. That would be a tough 2-loss resume to ignore.
It'd be a good one, yeah, but it's still a 2-loss resume, so it'd be interesting. Alabama comes in at number 2, didn't surprise anybody. It marks the 13th straight release that Nick Saban's Alabama team has been ranked in the top 2. You got to be freaking kidding me. It's their life. It's what happens. That's where they are always, either playing for a national title, having won the national title, or sitting there waiting to play for yet another one.
Yeah, you breathe in Tuscaloosa? Because if you are, you're in the top 2.
You're in the top 2. Now, by the way, I did see this little nugget. And this would be in Alabama's favor. The 5 of the 6 teams ranked in the top 2 of the committee's second release went on to make the college football playoff. Only number 1 Mississippi State in 2014 didn't. And we knew that 2014 Mississippi State team was not the number 1 team in the land and was fraudulent.
That was the greatest division in college football history.
Oh, God. On and on and on they went. Notre Dame and Clemson rounded out the top 4, the highest-ranked teams with 1 loss. The Fighting Irish and Tigers, of course, are tied for the most wins versus teams in the current top 25 with 3 each. So that's an impressive resume. It will only get better, at least for Notre Dame. Clemson would have figured to have had an opportunity to bolster the resume had they been playing a good team this weekend. They're not. They're playing us. Notre Dame, meanwhile, gets to take on Miami on the road, and I am heavily in favor of a Notre Dame win over Miami here, Tom. It's something I'd really like to see. I've invested myself emotionally into this game, and I'd like to see Notre Dame win. I may even find a pencil and a pad and draw an ND so I have something in the house that has Notre Dame on it, because currently I don't. I know. Actually, in terms of wagering, I like Notre Dame here, and I like them comfortably.
Well, just buy a North Dakota shirt. I mean, it's close enough. It looks pretty similar, and then you actually don't own anything Notre Dame.
Oh, man. So that's where we're at. Anyhow, that's what we have with the college football rankings. If you wanted to see the rest the only difference, if you look at a metric like ESPN does, where they have the strength of record metric, they'll have Georgia number 1. But you know what else they would have, just because of the wins over quality teams or road games or whatever it might be? They'd have an interesting look. They would have Georgia, Miami, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Alabama would be on the outside looking in.
What?
Well,
okay.
Alabama, if you look at it, it's interesting. UCF and Alabama have a very similar resume. Alabama hasn't beaten anybody.
This is true.
I mean,
because we're not anybody.
No. I mean, that's the weirdest part, right?
Bend over.
Oh, damn it, man. The Big Ten doesn't have a team ranked higher than number 8 this week. 6 total teams ranked in the committee's latest top 25, though, does lead all the conferences. And you look at this, Wisconsin is at 8. So the Big Ten, again, probably looking back on Penn State's drop-off, followed by Ohio State's beat down at the hands of Iowa, and begin to think, well, I guess Wisconsin or maybe Michigan State, and that doesn't feel like a comfortable place to place your bets.
How about a Wisconsin-Michigan State Big Ten championship game? Oh, my goodness.
Best odds, according to Vegas, to win the national title still reside with Alabama, followed by Clemson, followed by Georgia, followed by Notre Dame. Tell you what, if Notre Dame runs the rest of this table, I mean, my goodness gracious, what a resume. You know, I mean, when they're 4-8, you go, why do you schedule all these people?
Right.
But when you're trying to get in as an independent to the college football playoff and you're not a conference champion, you go, well, look at this resume.
What would happen if, and I think this is where the Notre Dame question comes in, even if Notre Dame wins out, you have Georgia kill Auburn this weekend, and then Alabama takes care of Auburn. So they're, the class of college football, at least in the rankings. So they're 1-2, and they're a firm 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alabama beats Georgia 27-26. There's a late kick that they win in the SEC title game. Yeah. And then there you are is Georgia and Notre Dame. We know Notre Dame's pretty damn good in its own right. And it's done
lost by a point to Georgia.
A ton of impressive things. But damn, to tell one of those two squads to go home
because have a good one. Well, you'd have to in that situation, head to head. There, you'd have to take Georgia.
You have to take Georgia.
Yeah, you got to take Georgia. They beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame, by the way.
That's just. I hope it doesn't come to that because. And these things typically work themselves out anyway.
They actually absolutely tend to work themselves out. I even when it doesn't look like it could possibly work themselves out, they do tend to work themselves out.
I just would hate to see a Wisconsin get in because they're undefeated and they won the Big Ten championship game, and you have to put them in, and then one of Notre Dame and Georgia gets left out. If everything fell to where they're two lost conference champions in the Big 12 and in the Pac-12, that type of thing.
And you're saying that because, again, Wisconsin's schedule at this point is...
They have one game. That's the championship game.
It's been laughable. I mean, you're just sort of looking at this like, well, I mean, but if they're undefeated, they're getting in. That will happen. But, listen, I got Iowa this weekend. It's a ranked team.
There it
Finally,
is.
There's your big matchup. Later in the year, they'll get Michigan. Actually, it's back-to-back games that potentially Wisconsin could lose because we don't know anything about Wisconsin really, other than that they typically don't cover. They did this past weekend.
Yep, got that one right.
You got your wager in there, but they do. I mean, now they're playing an Iowa team that just took Ohio State to the woodshed, and you got Michigan, who's not any good, but they do play good defense, and so that's a losable game. 2 games against top 25 teams in back-to-back weeks for Wisconsin, albeit on the fringe of the top 25. But
well, maybe it's like a James Franklin on the fringe with Michigan State, and you think, no threat here, and then boom.
Bam, just like that. Well, we should have known. I mean, James hasn't won a road game against a ranked team. But, hey, let's note our football team that is preparing themselves to play as an unranked team against a very, very ranked team. Is it possibly more ranked than another team? Higher ranked, yes, but just feeling like it's more ranked.
It's very ranked.
They're very ranked. The best
team.
kinds of rankings.
The best team.
Yes. No, that's them in the form of Clemson, who's won 45 of their last 49 games. And damn, it makes me mad to say that aloud because they're in our division and we're not competing. And that's not good. But what is good is the fact that you get help back at running back, one that suggests that you're going to be a little bit better off in pass pro. Jacques Patrick making his way back this weekend. Good for him, by the way. Kind of a heart and soul guy, tough guy, physical presence, good in pass pro, and a guy that can get you a tough yard. So he's also a guy that's passionate about the program, loves to play, and was giving his heart and soul. I was very sad when Jimbo told me that he was going to miss time, maybe possibly the year they thought at the time. To get him back here is exciting. Now, it's probably not the difference maker, but it certainly can't hurt. And if you're just trying to keep your quarterback healthy here and give him a chance to make it out of this game uninjured, that's a big, big deal to get Jacques Patrick back.
Yeah, if you can have Jacques, which we know, Auden Tate and Kelly all play this weekend, then all right, this is the best possible version of what we are. And let's see if we can get that bad boy up to about 13, 17 points. Wouldn't that be nice? Then we need that defense to play just like it did in the first game of the season, and you got yourself a slugfest.
What would you put the percentage chance of Florida State being within a score in the fourth quarter?
In the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use every point I can get, so that's within 8.
Okay, within 8, yeah.
1 in 5, 20%.
Yeah, it doesn't feel...
That's high, though, I would think, to a lot of people. I'll bet that's a high number. Rivalry games are crazy, man, and the talent on this field...
Well, when you're worried, when your back's against the wall and you're worried you're going to get blown out, or you fear embarrassment, yes, kids will play at a higher level than they've played perhaps all year, save for the Alabama game.
I get that we're playing it on the road, but in a world where Iowa can beat the pants off of Ohio State, I mean, college football is nuts, and we have the talent to make, their day crazy, their life crazy this weekend.
I think what you have to hope for, and we'll talk to Walt Deptula tomorrow. He covers this Clemson team. He's been on the show every year that we've played Clemson off and on. I've been on his show. He's been on mine. I'll ask him specifically about Clemson because we know about our team, but I want to know what he's concerned about, if anything. And I think his answer is going to be quarterback. I think what he's going to tell you is that if Florida State can stop the run, and that includes him running, Kelly Bryant that is, and make him beat you throwing the ball, you got a chance to force him into some mistakes that could go back the other way, and you get points that you don't anticipate because sustained drives from our offense against their defense, well, that ain't going to happen.
Well, Jeff, the number one concern I have is quarterback. We got to worry about our quarterback here.
Well, I think that's what he's going to say, and I think he'd be right to say it, and it's our hope. It's what I'm hanging my hat on. So, good preview, Walt.
Well, of course it was.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Since 1978, Hobbit American Grill keeps it local with a wide variety of locally crafted beers plus a full bar. Hobbit American Grill. 3 locations to choose from. 400 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Wow, this is great. E+.
E+? Is that like A+?
It's better. The E stands for easy.
Easy Plus?
Yep. Easy ways to save energy, water, and money from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities. The City of Tallahassee Utilities has created easy ways to monitor your account with E+ online. We can pay online, we can check our balance online, compare usage history online, and even take a free online energy audit.
And I see the City of Tallahassee Utilities has created a new smart bill. Once we enroll, we do everything online. Billing, paying, everything. What a time saver. Not to mention saving energy, water, and money.
And when we download the City of Tallahassee Utilities Digitally smartphone app, we can do everything on our phone. Pretty incredible.
Plus, there are new authorized payment locations, like some local gas stations, grocery stores, other city departments, and more.
We can even go to the Renaissance Center at 435 North Macomb Street to pay our bill.
Wow. The E really does stand for easy, doesn't it?
It sure does. E+ from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month, or up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Supercenter, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSupercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
97.9 ESPN Radio would like to congratulate Rickard's Nydia Donaldson, November's female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month. Nydia Donaldson is a member of the Advancement via Individual Determination AVID College Preparatory Program, National Honor Society, and Green Dot Youth Program for Bullying Prevention. Nydia serves as captain for the Lady Raiders volleyball team, leading them to the regional playoffs for the first time in over 5 years. She's an outstanding student, maintaining a 4.0 grade point average while taking challenging advanced placement and honors courses while being dual enrolled at Florida A&M University. As the November female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month, Rickard's Nydia Donaldson is now qualified as a finalist for the Dale Jr. $2,500 End of the Year Scholarship. To help support our friends at Dale Jr., check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee, or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jay Cameron Show, we've heard Jimbo Fisher reached out to Brian Kelly. Have you spoken to any hosts in South Bend about how to handle a collapsing season? I don't know that he's reached out to Brian Kelly. Did he? Did he say that? Coach
He hasn't said that yet. He says he
I'm
talks to coaches all the time, though.
We are suggesting he talked to Brian Kelly, or at least heed the example given and the steps taken by Brian Kelly at Notre Dame to have a reversed course where they went from 4-8 to a situation now where they could make the college football playoff a season later. That's the glimmer of hope that you see as an example out there. Also, there are a lot of similarities because, again, this is a coach that has been highly successful. It's an offensive mind who takes great pride in his system. It's somebody that has done it his way for a very long time, and it's worked up until recently. And that was the case with Brian Kelly a year ago, and he changed everything about his operating procedure. So
just don't get in a cherry picker for him. That's the only thing you don't want to do with Brian Kelly.
Well, I think there's lots of things that being the most hazardous. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't do that. Not a good idea. And by the way, I'm still I don't want to go down that road. I was just going to say I'm still amazed he's still employed. That's a toughie. That's a horrible situation. But and there are plenty of people going, what? No, go research that situation, guys. That didn't work out as planned, and yet he survived that, and I really am shocked. Okay, so
Notre Dame,
yeah,
they might have experience.
All shocks.
Anyway,
all jokes, I should say, not shocks. That was shocking. All jokes aside, no, we haven't spoken to the South Bend radio hosts as to how to handle a collapsing season. In this case, a collapsed season. But I did talk to you this week. We both talked about reaching out to guys that cover Notre Dame to get some insight as to that transformation. And it remains the most interesting question that we kick about on and off the air, it seems like, on a daily basis these days, and that is whether or not Jimbo will do all of the things we think are necessary, including looking inward, to get the necessary results and the changes that we're clamoring for. Again, it's a hurry-up-and-wait game, which is infinitely frustrating.
The one thing I'd say, and I've thought about this a lot now that there's been a couple of days to chew on his comments on Monday, facilities, and even though he said now's not the time, he went into a long diatribe. We played the clip. Man, if you're the administration and he's asking you for things like right now, you close the door. You say, get out of here, man. Go review some film. Like, that's just crazy. The more I think about it, the more angry I get about that. Like, if you're talking about, let's just say they're sitting down. There's an athletic department meeting. Jimbo's in a room with the higher-ups, and they're talking about, I don't know, maybe potentially new coaches that are coming here to town in the next month or two. Man, if he deviates the conversation from, all right, let's get this guy at this number if we can, that guy at that number, and you're talking about budgets and salaries. If he deviates to, well, we need the facility too because things will get better if I get the facility. I just hope, and I think the interview you did in the summer with Stan Wilcox was enlightening because he doesn't speak often, but that gave me an insight into the fact that, all right, he'll stand up for himself if there's a meeting and there is a difference of opinion between football coach and athletic director. That's something that we really didn't know if that happens all that much, if Jimbo is allowed to rule the football program by himself and he gets what he wants. Man, eye on the prize here. You got to get people in here, and then you got to get focused on your end. So I just hope from here on out, into the spring, that we're not talking about facilities and football standalone stuff. Unless he's on the booster tour, there's no place for it right now in a press conference.
No, and I imagine to some degree he regrets that. He kind of he trailed off into that talking point or around that talking point, I think partly because it's an easier thing for him to talk about right now as opposed to his team and the situation they're in. But it's tone deaf, and you certainly, when you do that, appear to be taking shots at a time where it seems unfathomable to do so. So I get it. There is a lot of anger. It's interesting because I commented on this on Monday and again yesterday. But if you take a glimpse of the message boards or Twitter or our email or, you just talk to people out and about, we've been a busy week this week already being out and about, which is a good thing. But I've had a chance to talk to a lot of fans, a lot of diehard Noles, and it pissed off the most ardent Jimbo supporters because it's the second time he's done it. And the first time he was wholly dismissive during a call-in show, the coach's call-in show. And I don't know that he meant to be, but it certainly came across that way. And we all kind of he raised the antenna a little bit, eyebrows raised. What are we doing here, my man? You're gonna dismiss the millions of dollars that have been given, including everything you've asked for and you've received, as being small? No, that's not what you do. You don't insult those people, not when you're having this kind of year. So that was the first time, and he's done it again, and now he's done it again when you're 3-5.
But I don't think it's talking out of school to say all that did was pull the curtain back to something that people who are connected know about. That's the way he is. He's always demanding. And I said when you first played,
well, I said the timing of that was poor.
Yeah.
And I think it's not that he asked for these things. It's that all coaches ask for those things, but there's a time and place.
Right.
So I had more of an issue not with the fact that he's going to continue to ask the administration for these things, but rather that he chose on the call-in show to kind of go on this.
Right. And then, so, now with Clemson this week, that's how we segued into the talking point was, well, look at the investment they've made. So what happens? Because Florida's announced that they're building a new standalone facility that's going to be done in the next 2, 3, 4 years, somewhere in there. I heard it got delayed because they couldn't find a place to build it. It sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But so Monday of Florida week, are we going to talk about, that they've invested? So whoever that, the new hire is going to be, looks like Florida's decided to put their hat into the ring. Man, you can't even have that discussion with the athletic department right now because you're 3-5.
But also, it's not why you lost to Boston College 35-3. It has nothing to do with the investments or lack thereof in this university. Does Boston College have better facilities and better players and more support than Florida State? No, not even a third of it. It's impossible. They don't give a damn about their football team. They don't care, and they beat you 35-3. So don't give me facilities conversations after getting your ass beat like that. Don't do it. It's insulting.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, in theory, like when we talked about it in the summer and you had the long-form interview with Stan, when I heard that, I was so relieved because to me it sounds like you have somebody who's playing the role of pragmatist and somebody who's looking at the budget sheet and saying, in Stan Wilcox, well, I get that you want that facility.
And we want you to have it, by the way.
We don't have the money at the moment.
No, not tomorrow. We're not building that facility, but let's start the process. We'll continue to engage in these conversations. We'll formulate a plan. We've always done that, Jimbo, and we'll continue to do that.
Right, exactly. It's not as though we're going to table it and then never get to it. I'm glad that we have people playing those roles, but now's not the time to play that role. Now it's all about, all right.
Behind the scenes, ask every day if you want.
Sure.
And you know what? And if you get a terse response back, so be it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Right now, I wouldn't even ask behind the scenes.
I wouldn't. You wouldn't. He will.
Yeah. That's part of the problem, though, isn't it?
Listen, I don't know. Maybe a lot of coaches are the exact same way. It's that it's always got to be that I need the next great thing because they know the lifeblood of their program centers around the ability to recruit and winning those one-on-one recruiting battles for the best players in the country. And anything that gives you an ever so slight advantage to that end, you're going to fight like hell for. So I will say in that moment, fine, do that behind the scenes, even in the midst of a 3-5 season, but you never do it publicly. You don't dismiss the millions of dollars contributed, the IPF that was built for you, the Champions Club, and all the investments that have been made that he's asked for from day one. In the midst of this season, you don't go to the dais and have that conversation, and you do not answer questions that center around Dabo Swinney's time at Clemson and the nature of a rivalry and allow that to somehow segue into your need to invest or invest more in what we're doing because Clemson has. Well, Clemson has more money than Florida State has. So let's just say that. They have. The IPTAY thing is a big deal. Obviously, we know that. But Florida State's a top 5 program in the country. You're not at some middling-ass school that is looking to throw their hat in the ring. The hat's been in the ring for a long time. They've continued to add and add and add. Now, the impetus for a lot of the newest things we see on campus centered around athletics has to do with Jimbo Fisher's guiding us into the modern era of college football that we had fallen out of and become antiquated with under Coach Bowden at the end of his legendary career. So thank you. Good job. Got it. Everybody's in. But things take time. You don't build something overnight, and it's not as if those demands have been dismissed. If they had, I could understand the frustration. But They've all been built. Everything you've wanted has happened.
Well, and guess what? What you also wanted was better terms for your assistant coaches. And right now, I have to allocate that money if I'm in charge of whatever, booster, athletic department, you name it. We got to drum up the money to get you new assistant coaches because we had a vote of confidence and we had to expand their salaries, extend their life of their contract. And now what am I doing? I'm buying all those sons of guns out, and we got to go bring in a whole bunch of new ones.
Well,
so I don't have the money to buy you a standalone now. The money I could have committed to that potentially is going to a brand new coaching staff. So thanks.
Yeah, also, it's not as if, again, you haven't each of the last few years been in a situation in which you were able to leverage your prowess, admittedly, as a head coach, and I guess, zeal for certain universities to acquire your services into a significant raise for yourself.
Didn't Mark Richt put down like $1 million for?
Well, Dabo's done it for Brent Venables.
But I mean, for a building, they wanted to build their facilities.
Well, again,
he's an alum though, which is a different thing.
It's true, but let me say this: this is what I'm afraid of, and I that's why we're going to move on. This is another reason you don't do it in the midst of a 3-5 season. This gets ugly. This conversation, the one we're having, gets ugly in a hurry.
You know me, I'm usually the pragmatist, but stewing on this particular
I know.
Man, that pisses
ugly,
me the hell off.
It gets ugly in a hurry, and believe me, just reading that inbox, I'm telling people we're livid. I just think the hard part here is that I was livid with him, but I also thought, sometimes he just doesn't. Time and place. He sometimes struggles with time and place, and there's not malice. It's not so much of a lack of appreciation. Maybe it is, but I tend to think it's just a PR blunder. It's a misstep. It's his people not reminding him that, look, my man, now you can't, under any set of circumstances right now, be talking about facilities.
Well, it's all about the way you pitch it. If you pitch it as an uplifting opportunity, it's completely different than saying, well, we're not doing enough around here.
I just don't know how you can – well, that's true too, but I just don't know how it's on the mind. Like that gives you insight perhaps to a way of thinking that troubles you moving forward. Not that you are uncomfortable with a head coach's desire to want the best of all things for his program. All the great coaches are asking for everything under the sun, and they want it tomorrow. So I can live with that. I can live with that mindset. But it's that you would be thinking about that specifically at a time that, frankly, you have failed miserably. This isn't the lost decade. They have good players. Really good players, and that's thanks to him as a recruiter and his staff. They've done a good job of recruiting, but now those players aren't performing to the best of their ability, and that's also on you. So let's really worry about getting kids to play hard consistently, play well, and know what they're doing consistently, and playing to an expectation that's reasonable based on the amount of 4 and 5 stars that litter the field every Saturday, as opposed to whether or not we can build this standalone right now. I mean, that's. Again, there was so many reasons not to do that. It's a major stumble.
Yeah, how many different ways do you want to challenge people to a fight, Because that's institutionally challenging somebody in a way that is not productive right now. If we're 8-0, man, you pitch it. It's the next phase. You want to take the next step? Here's the next step to take.
But it wouldn't have been, even at 8-0, appropriate given the question that was asked. I mean, it doesn't make sense there. It just doesn't. It sounds like you're taking hold of a conversation and steering it as opposed to allowing it to ebb and flow the way a normal conversation would, or the way that a pointed question demands an answer. That has nothing to do with this other thing over here. It's not, Walter, it's not about Vietnam, man. This has nothing to do with that. Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories. Stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and a full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Live music on Friday evenings. Proof Brewing Company's award-winning beers 850 and Mango Wit are now available in 6-pack cans. Follow Proof Brewing Company on Facebook or visit online at proofbrewingco.com for more info. Proof Brewing Company reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Noel fans, ESPN Tallahassee's official home for FSU watch parties in 2017 is Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Francois to throw for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Seminoles are going for the win.
The ESPN Tallahassee team will be on hand for every Seminole away football game with giveaways, a chance to win some great prizes, and to have a good time.
To the pylon. He's into the end zone for an FSU touchdown.
So, when the Noles hit the road, join us at Miller's Ale House on the Parkway, the official FSU watch party headquarters of your home of the best in Seminole sports talk. 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Authority.
Football season is in full swing, and so is AAA One Transmission. AAA One Transmission is locally owned and operated by Tim Pridgett, who's been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 37 years. Brakes, transmissions, electrical systems, tune-ups, and battery checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA One Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
Hey, Fido!
Yes, bud?
Hey, have you heard about that Hair of the Dog sports bar?
Yeah, it's all everyone's been barking about. It's Midtown's #1 sports bar with over 50 TVs, burgers, loaded nachos and wings, and a massive bar. Plus, Hair of the Dog is human-friendly, but you gotta keep them on a leash.
Sounds like a great place to watch those human teams play catch.
You mean football? Hair of the Dog Sports Bar, Midtown, North Monroe behind Brugger's. Best drink prices and juiciest burgers in town. Sexy French poodles welcome.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. So dry. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your mouth cannonball into a barrel of mothballs? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? You're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. do the do.
PepsiCo North America Beverages recently named Tallahassee Pepsi its 2016 Bottler of the Year. The prestigious award was created to honor the very best independent bottler in the United States and Canada for outstanding customer service, sales execution, and community support. Congratulations, Tallahassee Pepsi.
Don't throw that can away. You can make some extra cash by simply bringing it to the annual Cans for Cash event. In an ongoing effort to reduce waste and landfill space, the City of Tallahassee and Keep Tallahassee Beautiful are teaming up again to host the Cans for Cash recycling event on Saturday, November 11th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the outdoor living side of Home Depot parking lot at 3200 Capitol Circle Northeast. Participants will receive 30 cents per pound for aluminum cans collected. Electronic scrap such as broken computers and TVs can also be brought for recycling as a courtesy. No payment will be provided for these items. Join the City of Tallahassee and Keep Tallahassee Beautiful on Saturday, November 11th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Home Depot located at 3200 Capitol Circle Northeast to cash in those cans. For more information about recycling and other city solid waste services, visit talgov.com/YOU or call 891-4968.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. You know, it's hard. It's difficult to when you feel like every time. I mean, because I can hear it. I can hear it in my headset. I hear from the perspective of a listener of the radio show, thinking, you know, I have a hard enough time watching us lose on Saturday, Jeff, but I turn you on a Wednesday and you're angry, and the program, you know, is at a place where there's a lot to be critical of, and I'm aware of it, and we're all aware of it, but I tune in, and you stay with it. Man, but here's the deal. Documenting reality is necessary. You can't ignore these things just because they're unpleasant, just because they're not fun, and they don't, you don't derive joy from that. I got it. I'll try to be entertaining along the way, but there are certain things about a season like this that just simply can't be ignored, and they are unpleasant. I'd rather us be 8-0 going into this game against Clemson, knowing that our spot at the college football playoff table is on the line, and the division and the chance to win a conference or national title is at stake. Well, those are better conversations, at least more interesting, more intriguing, more fun, and you get to a place where you think, all right, let's do this thing. But that's not where we are, and that's part of the problem, is that I can deal with losses. I'm not that guy that I used to be all those years ago in my early 20s that felt like you should never lose. That's how you are as a fan when you're young. Just like when you start out as a fan, it's devastating to see your team lose, especially when expectations are vaulted. When you believe your team can win a national title and then they don't, the losses that take you out of the running, well, they sting. Well, somewhere along the way, you experience enough of the good with the bad and everything in between to have a pretty good perspective on what it means to have a good season or a bad season or have a tough loss or a great win. And you deal with that, and other things come along in your life, like getting married and having kids. And so the world isn't a football game or a football season or a football program. However, my passion for this program and my observations on where we're headed and how we got here, well, that is going to be, for the most part, I'm going to try to be, anyhow, as I see it, steeped in reality. I'm pretty pragmatic, straight to the point, and that's where we're at 3-5. And it's simply not good enough. I also recognize that at 3-5, the sole reason you're here isn't just that the coaches have not had a good year, some of which have had terrible years. It's also because everything that could go wrong did go wrong. That's true, too. It is true. I mean, it really hurt this team to not be able to play a football game after the Alabama game. I think there's something to the fact that had they played that game, even having lost their starting quarterback for the year, which was the first of the big-time kick to the testicles, but if you play that game just as it was, you lose that game just as it played out, and you lose your starting quarterback, had you turned right around 7 days later and played ULM and won that game going away, which they most assuredly would have, and gained a little confidence and moved to 1-1 and, got into a rhythm of preparing for and playing football games, I think you would have been much better off in preparation for your game against, say, NC State. Obviously, it would have been nice to be able to play Miami the following week, who were still trying to figure out what they were at that time. Just getting into game shape and getting your mind right for games and the schedules, that all would have been great. But instead, you lost to Alabama, you lost your starting quarterback, then you waited 3 weeks. And the first team you played had a beastly front seven who's been really good all year long, and now you throw at them a true freshman, and really we were headed down the wrong path from the get-go. And that's added to the big-time problems we see on a week-to-week basis. I agree. And that's not all coaching. Some of that is just dumb, bad luck. You can't predict Irma. What are you going to do? It happens. But the other aspects that we talk about and some consistent flaws that have been there long before this season, now those things are highlighted when you're having a bad year and when you have no margin for error. And so we tend to talk about those again and again and again because that's the thing that has to be fixed. That and your coach doubled down on his DC who's not doing a good job.
Well, I think if you had your standalone facility, we'd have a much better record at this point. The other thing is we're going to build that thing too. It's going to be the Moore Center. I think that seems to be the way that Stan was kind of hinting that it was going to go. That there's this hybrid feasible solution. It's a little bit cheaper to do, but then it's all self-contained right there, and then they'll move the rest of the operations for all the other sports to a different part of campus. I mean, we're going to get some sort of investment there. I don't think there's any question about that.
No.
But the problem is, and this is the hard part, I don't know the exact financials. I don't know the exact situation here at Florida State. But it's not the same as it is at some of the SEC, big dogs like Alabama or LSU, or even they're not in the SEC. But as you said, with the IPTAY fund up there with Clemson, we don't have the infinite money that other programs have. As Lawrence Dawsey once told us when we were on the golf
he said
course.
He was about 20 years away
20
from
years,
LSU.
20 years behind, just in terms of having the endowments and the money on hand, the liquidity. Is all right. So we need to make 2 or 3 drastic changes right now to the staff. Does everybody have the money to do that? If we had the money that Alabama does, no buyout would be too big if we really wanted to make a change for a head coach. But we have a lot of money now that we got to, dip into the coaches pool that we need for buyouts and then new hires. So I just don't know. I think at times we operate because we believe so strongly in this program, and we know that it's a top 5 current program over the last 30, 35 years in terms of prestige, right? That's all true.
Mm-hmm.
But we think that means we have an infinite budget. We don't. We're not like some of the listen, you can have an infinite budget like Texas and still be figuring stuff out and not win nearly as much as you possibly should or could win. But we don't have that kind of money. So we need to be smart with how we use the money we have, put it in the most efficient place possible, and let the program grow from there. I think with what budget we've had, we've done an exceptional job of giving Jimbo what he's needed since he's taken over as a head coach. And we will continue to do it.
Yeah, that's not an issue. It's not something that is holding the program back. And it has nothing to do with this season. 0. So, that's kind of, again, it's a moot point. It's a long-term talking point. It's a big picture discussion that has to be had. But it has nothing to do with nothing right now. Nothing. It has nothing to do with nothing.
You're not recruiting Clemson year after year after year leading into the season, right?
No, it has nothing to do with anything at 3-5. It's not a talking point. It's not. So, and it's especially not when you're not in a place of leverage. You don't have the leverage right now.
Right.
Now, it's
you got to come hand in hand for the coaches that you need right now. That's where the focus needs to be. The investment. If he wants to talk about investment, which he couldn't do because you can't let alert coaches, even though they kind of know the writings on the wall, that they're absolutely gone from year to year. If you want to talk about investment in personnel, I think people are willing to hear that. But if you're talking about buildings and stuff, not right now, dude. Wait for the spring.
Oh, by the way, you can look around the country and find, I mean, there are places, obviously, with better facilities. There's always going to be multiple places with better facilities. This never ends. I mean, we talked about this some yesterday, too. So you build the newest thing, and then somebody else a year from now decides that they're invested, and a year from that time, they go ahead and build their new thing, and now yours is 2 years old, and theirs is brand new, and it's slightly better, and you go, wait a minute, and then you want a newer thing because that thing was new and all that, and this is a game that never ends. And I get that. It never does. Once you're, as Jimbo Fisher says, in the facilities business, you're never out of it. I got you. You're always looking to do more. But guess what? There are a lot of nice facilities, nicer ones than this, at places where they don't win because they haven't had the right guy and they haven't made the right choices as a recruiter or as a head coach to your assistants, whatever it might be. There are so many other factors that go into play here. All in all, Florida State is a top 5 job, and most people would trip over themselves trying to sign on the dotted line to get here.
I think people who are in Jimbo's camp still, and they're fervent Jimbo people, and then the people who want him out too with the rest of the coaches, and they want to start over and let's reboot this thing, and everybody in the middle can all agree that if you had to prioritize the dollars you have right now, it's for the staff. It's for staff changes.
Oh, well, they want everybody on this staff not named Odell and maybe not named Tim Brewster fired. That's what they want. They want all those guys gone.
There's your priority, and that's being dealt with behind closed doors. So what are we talking about here with laser tag and mini golf?
Well, and also that, again, I don't want to repeat the same segment over and over and over again, but Boston College doesn't have anything. They got a sorry-ass stadium, a fan base that doesn't care whatsoever, and they just beat you 35-3. Let's not do this.
But they do have an electric guitar ready to play the same 3 songs after every play.
No. Stop it. I can't believe this. I sound like me, the dad, at the house. Son, no, we're done. Stop it, we're done. That's how this thing's end at our house, by the way. It's I'll reason with you, okay?
Right.
You're still being irrational? Oh, we're done here now. We're done. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're still talking. Okay, now we're done. The next step.
This is your bedroom. This is me closing the door.
Final hour forthcoming.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories. Stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
From Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Milwaukee's special promotions going on right now at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Purchase an M18 Fuel 2-tool combo kit and receive your choice free. M18 Fuel 4.5 to 5-inch grinder, 7 1/4-inch circular saw, or M18 Fuel Sawzall. Also check out the Milwaukee accessory add-on promotions. Buy Milwaukee Sawzall blades and use e-rebates to get a 30-ounce stainless tumbler, pack-out toolbox, or M12 hacksaw kit. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, the largest Milwaukee selection in the area. 2 locations, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
It's the Ford year-end sales event.
I can't wait for you to meet my parents.
Yeah, can't wait. Oh, here's a spot.
Can you fit?
Just watch.
I am, and so is my family. Why are you taking your hands off the wheel?
And park.
The Ford Edge, with available enhanced active park assist, makes parallel parking very impressive.
They're gonna love you.
That's Ford, America's best-selling brand, now with exclusive holiday offers. Get 0% APR financing for 72 months, plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on select Fusion, Focus, Escape, Edge, and Explorer models. Hurry, offer expires November 30th, 2017. Best-selling based on 2016 sales. Driver assist features are supplemental and do not replace driver's attention, judgment, and need to control the vehicle. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $13.89 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by November 30th, 2017. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for complete details.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
You can always count on the Knolls to deliver. But what about your home comfort system? If your system is older or giving you problems, call the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning to check it out. Make the right call this season and turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Go Knolls. License number CAC 057652.
You can always count on the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light. Just like you can always count on Tailgate Terry. Without Tailgate Terry, you wouldn't have cold Bud Lights and 7-layer dip at every pregame. That's 56 layers per season. Just the right amount if you ask Terry. Just don't ask him while he's inflating the 8-foot mascot he blows up for tailgating. Tailgate Terry is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB St. Louis, Missouri.
Fire up the grills for another season of Seminole football.
2nd and 3, patient, then explosive, and a touchdown for the Knolls.
It's Tallahassee Game Day, your ESPN Tallahassee pregame show, featuring Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Yeah, I like them.
Get the latest news, interviews, and insights 3 hours ahead of kickoff before the Knolls defend home turf.
Hey, on Saturday, we're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Whole Foods Market, a leader in natural and organic food that brings the highest quality of local and global products to Tallahassee. Whole Foods Market, located at 1817 Thomasville Road, and presented by MMT Clinics of Florida. Visit MMTCFL.com.
To the pylon! That's a Seminoles touchdown!
Weekend deals are here at Target. So here's your gotta get that, yes please, now you're talking gimme, gimme, gimme guide to saving big this holiday season. This Saturday and Sunday, save 15% on the things you need to make your Thanksgiving Day get-together a turkey day done right. That's 15% off gotta have-its, like Dixie paper plates, Bounty napkins, and Ziploc bags. Take that, leftovers. This weekend, save 15% on Thanksgiving prep essentials. Only at Target. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Doctors operated on Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson's right knee today. He tore his ACL in practice last week. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports doctors did not find any additional damage to that knee. Teddy Bridgewater is now off the PUP list and on the active roster for the Vikings. He's trying to come back from a dislocated knee. To make room on the roster, the Vikings put Sam Bradford on injured reserve, ending his season. ESPN's Brady Henderson reports defensive end Dion Jordan will likely be activated for tomorrow night's game against the Cardinals. After injuries and suspensions, Jordan's last NFL game was back in 2014. UCLA basketball players LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill won't play in Friday's opener against Georgia Tech. They're now out on bail after being accused of shoplifting at a Louis Vuitton store in Hangzhou, China. Basketball Hall of Famer Bob Knight says he has never been a Wooden fan. Talking about fellow Hall of Famer John Wooden, Knight says on Audience's Undeniable with Joe Buck that he did respect Wooden as a coach.
Sports Center is brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, Wednesday through Saturday, select Dockers signature khakis are just $36.99. Or get 50% off select Arizona and St. John's Bay apparel. Plus, get $10 off with coupon when you spend $25 or more. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Miss anything, go back, catch up. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. You can always email the show if you like, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. You can find us on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee. Use that WTSM app for either your iPhone or your Android. Doesn't matter. It's a free app. Works well everywhere. That's a good thing. All right. So we're a night away from some football being back on. That's a good thing. Just a few days away from Florida State playing Clemson. Good news is Jacquez Patrick, according to Jimbo Fisher, will be back and ready to play. Whatever long shot we may be against Clemson on Saturday is certainly aided, though, by the return of Patrick. I think most importantly, again, is this idea that you get him back. Not so much for running prowess, which he is a nice running back, but you got that in Cam Akers. You got plenty of good runners. It's that he's a good blocker in the passing game, and that's going to be necessary here in pass protection against a really good Clemson defense if you want to keep young Mr. Blackman upright and healthy throughout. And to give yourself a fighting chance, it was necessary to get him back. And plus, I'm happy for him because that's a kid who cares deeply. And at times, we've questioned how many kids on this team out there on a regular basis care all that much. Now, that may be unfair at times. I think we've seen enough evidence that there are a few guys that you wonder that about. Business decisions, as I like to call them, right? Jacquez Patrick, you'll never have to worry about that with, man. He is all in, and you need as many of those guys who are all in as possible when you're facing a team that's playing well and a team that believes and a team that's winning football games at a rate we expected Florida State ought to, but isn't.
You know, one thing I want to see, obviously, Jacquez, that's, as you said, he's somebody who's committed, he's a leader, and he can help you in details in the game.
Physical presence, yeah.
That Cam is, yeah, and yes, he's a good running back too, you know, outside of all of those things. But one thing I'm excited to see this weekend is just how game is Cam Akers for the big test.
Oh, I don't question. Yeah, I know you're not questioning hard. He's going to be a tough guy. I think he'll be the bright spot if we can give him any space. That I don't know. You know, so much. The beauty of football is, again, it's a game in which it's the ultimate team sport. Everybody's got to be doing their job for any of those skill players to really shine and utilize that elusiveness, that strength, that breakaway speed, the shiftiness, whatever it is you like to look for out of a running back or a receiver. You know, guys got to be able to block it up. So that really is the whole deal. Because Cam, I think he makes plays against the highest caliber of competition from this point forward. He's believing now. He's got more patience. He's strong. He doesn't look like he's hit a freshman wall. He's an amazing player.
Yes, he's in incredible shape, too, for just being a true freshman. I mean, who's tackling that guy in 3 years?
Yeah, some guys you're just like, really? You look like that?
Right,
I'm in the gym, too.
So when he's in his money year here in 2 years, I mean, seriously, and it's head up in the hole. I mean, who's tackling him? But the thing that made Dalvin so special was that if there is an immediate rusher in the backfield.
Yeah, make a guy miss in a phone booth.
And then there's 4 yards. So it's 2nd and 6 instead of 2nd and 12. And, you talk about.
We just saw him do that this past weekend for the first time.
Correct. So my question is, though, is that Syracuse? Or if he's capable of doing that now against Clemson, and he doesn't have to do it all damn day, but if he shows you a couple of glimpses that as a true freshman, he's ready to face that type of defense, and he has to make a play to account for somebody missing an assignment, and then he could still bounce and get you a couple yards and keep you ahead of the chains, man, then you're talking about the next step, and that's something that you can really, really get excited about. I don't know that he's ready for that yet, though. I just think that he's a guy that you need to get to the line of scrimmage with a chance to do something after it, not somebody who can make a guy miss in the backfield, but sadly, I think we'll get a couple opportunities to see what he's made of this weekend, and it's just that's if I'm hanging my hat on something to be excited about, it's on number 3.
Well, you got a fan base right now that is forlorn. Just as crestfallen as they come right now is where we sit, and it's led to some divisiveness. You see, Florida State fans arguing with other Florida State fans about the proper way to go about moving forward, and whether that's with or without Jimbo. And it's funny, you get the people who take sides. Oftentimes, I think. We'll do so at a juncture of the season where your goals are off the table and now it's time to dig heels in. But in doing that, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again here. That's fine. That's fine. But we're all subject to the whims of emotion, as I like to say, a little less so as we get older. And losses affect you. And your ability to stand boldly in where you're at now in defense of what you're seeing begins to wane if things get ugly, and Saturday has a chance to get ugly. It also has the chance to be, however slim you think that chance is, a jumping off point that really helps begin the conversation about what's possible next year. If Florida State goes to Clemson in a game that Vegas and just the casual fan would give them no chance to win, and finds a way to be in this game late into the fourth quarter, well, not only would you be proud and happy and surprised and shocked, but it would be a sign that he got him back yet again, and that maybe, just maybe, you have something to build on, even in defeat, if it were to happen. Now, it doesn't erase the previous 5 losses, and if you did go up there and play well and still lost, you'd be 3-6, and that's hardly what we expect to see in Tallahassee. But how you play and the optics in these games, they do matter. It affects recruiting. It affects a lot of things. And we could desperately use, I don't feel like the Syracuse game did that for us because, well, we didn't play all that well. And you're skirting by Syracuse. So even then you're going, well, I like winning more than I do losing, but that's about all the enthusiasm I can muster here.
Yes, from a big picture standpoint,
because
sure.
they're not the team you compare yourself to.
Right.
This one is. The one we're playing is.
I know they took some flack for it, the over-the-top celebrations after the game.
I don't care about the kids celebrating. They've been losing and losing and losing. Good for them.
I don't blame them either. But what I'm saying is, I don't care how you come to believe if you believe.
Right. And that's like we talk about guys in the box, right?
Right. Exactly right. So to me, if that means a big deal to them, then it is a big deal to them. It's kind of like what Jimbo said about the 2012 Orange Bowl. You win the ACC championship and now you're champions and you go to the Orange Bowl and you win, and that makes a big difference for confidence. And then 2013 happens. There was a different edge to that team to finish the job. They knew where they failed in the regular season, but now they knew that they were good enough to win a championship. I'm not trying to liken the Syracuse game to that kind of moment, but what I am saying is confidence does matter. Jimbo is not lying about that, man. That is so true. And if you have these athletes feeling a little bit better about themselves this week in practice, then maybe the defense can rise up and give you an effort that if Clemson's, not up 10-13-0 early on in this game, then you're in a dogfight. It's like we always talk about when an underdog comes to town here, when we're feeling right about ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, you've got
Don't let us believe and tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're Clemson, you want to take advantage of a Florida State team that, when facing good competition, has really struggled, period. And so you jump on them early and don't give them reason to believe, and this thing could get ugly in a hurry if that happens. But, yeah, I agree with you. The longer this thing goes on, you do have the caliber of athlete now, once they believe they can win, to make this really uncomfortable. And that certainly that's being stressed at Clemson right now. But I guess what would give you that chance to truly apply game pressure is to early on, now obviously you script those early drives, those first 15 plays or so, and if you're able to come up with something that works early and you put together a good drive, like you did that first drive against Duke, and Clemson's not Duke, but I got it. The play calling, the way that was sequenced was a thing of beauty, and Florida State looked as efficient as an offense can look. Say, for argument's sake, you put together something like that Saturday to start the game. Okay, big first step towards believing. Not necessarily winning, but just believing you can win. Now you get a couple of stops because the defense is fired up. They recognize that if they don't play well, they can get their doors blown off. So they show up, like you said, as they did against Alabama. And the next thing you know, we're kind of middle of the second quarter. We got a little 7-7 game going on here. Both teams are kind of trading shots defensively, making stops. You're not losing the field position battle too much. You're keeping your quarterback safe with screens and draws and rollouts and play action and that kind of thing, and just kind of taking what they'll give you. Hope to flip field position, play good defense. Maybe one of your special players like a Cam Akers, maybe a speedster like Dooney Murray gets behind a defender, something happens, and you hit it. But you got to pick your moments to take your shots. It's not going to happen. You can't. It's a game where you really have to be as calculated as we're talking about now, which is just shorten the game. Stay in it. It's nothing dumb. Don't get. Obviously, this team's too good to commit a lot of penalties, turn the ball over. You get blown out. But you do all those things. We get into the second half, get them thinking.
And one magical Cam Akers halfback toss pass. There it is. Here's the recipe for making it interesting.
You're a little bit like Tarif Knockout, who calls the coaches show every week, and that'll be tonight, right?
That's correct.
To ask about the garnet pants on the road, the garnet pants with the white jerseys, and he has remained relentless, and I appreciate that about him. Good on you, brother. You're that guy who's like, at some point we're going to see that Cam Akers in the Wildcat. Can we get a little Cam Akers cat?
Well, I'm just calling for the toss pass this week. I'm not going for anything crazy. He's got a decent arm, so a little toss pass action.
He's got a good arm. Yeah, you want to toss.
A little halfback. Well, we broke it out against Boston College, so it's on the film. Mm-hmm. But, that doesn't mean that we can't set it up, break it out in that third quarter, score that first touchdown of the season in the third quarter on a little halfback toss pass.
If I thought we could block it up, the requisite amount of time necessary to complete this next play, I would call the flea flicker. I miss a well-executed flea flicker, Tom.
But what if it was just a flicker and not a flea flicker? So the quarterback tosses it to Cam.
And he throws it.
And then he just chucks it.
What about the quarterback toss the Cam back to the quarterback throw?
Boy, we need trick plays this weekend.
Oh, lots
That's
of
where
them.
We are.
Break them out. Bobby Bowden special, yeah.
Return of the Pistols.
Let's do it. How about a flea flicker, Jimbo? We could bring back the character, Jimbo.
Yeah. I see you, Jimbo.
I see you, Jimbo.
Maybe somebody should call and ask if we've got a flea flicker ready for the weekend tonight.
Well, I don't want to give it away. I mean, we got to execute that puppy on game day. We don't need anybody.
Jimbo could say,
infiltrating, listening in to our call-in shows.
You see the TV feed, and Jimbo goes, no, while he's nodding.
Maybe we run the flea flicker on the first play of the game. Catch a napping. And pistols to the other sideline. Playing footloose and fancy free this week, boys. We've got nothing to lose. Guess what? We're going to commit a couple cheap shots. You just don't know when they're coming. I may hit your quarterback late. I might.
Man, if they're going to call us for clipping, we
We're
might as well
here.
clip.
We're going to earn it. Big time.
Flanagan calling this game?
Watch your back. Just get all kinds of doubt circulating. These jokers out here throwing flea flickers, throwing out the pistols, talking about cheap shotting us.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories. Stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my poor truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
With PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
As a Marine serving in Afghanistan, I conducted logistics patrols in some of the world's most dangerous places.
The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program helps U.S. military veterans like Jacob Dietz gain the education and training needed to transition into civilian life.
When I came home, I was ready for a new mission. The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship is helping me get a degree in electrical engineering. Help a Hero took a load off me and my family.
You can donate to Help a Hero at all participating Sport Clips locations. Just ask your Sport Clips stylist or look for the Help a Hero donation box. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate $1 for every haircut. That's what we call making your cut count.
My name is Jacob Dietz, United States Marine, and I'm saluting you.
Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. To learn more about the Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program, visit sportclips.com.
Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4-DRDELAY. That's 833, the number 4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833, the number 4, Dr. DeLay.
Don't throw that can away. You can make some extra cash by simply bringing it to the annual Cans for Cash event. In an ongoing effort to reduce waste and landfill space, the City of Tallahassee and Keep Tallahassee Beautiful are teaming up again to host the Cans for Cash recycling event on Saturday, November 11th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the outdoor living side of Home Depot parking lot at 3200 Capitol Circle Northeast. Participants will receive 30 cents per pound for aluminum cans collected. Electronic scraps such as broken computers and TVs can also be brought for recycling as a courtesy. No payment will be provided for these items. Join the City of Tallahassee and Keep Tallahassee Beautiful on Saturday, November 11th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Home Depot, located at 3200 Capitol Circle Northeast, to cash in those cans. For more information about recycling and other city solid waste services, visit talgov.com/YOU or call 891-4968.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
a boat or a trailer in a little park by the side of the road.
By the way, you know what is fun? And I know we're on the fringe of this. But looking at the coaching carousel that is expected to play out this offseason, there's a segment today on ESPN College Football Insider. Consecutive double-digit home losses almost certainly signaled the end for Kevin Sumlin in College Station. He likely will coach the rest of the regular season before being let go. Texas A&M has big money and likely will take some big swings for someone's successor. Don't be surprised if the school kicks the tires on TCU's Gary Patterson, Washington's Chris Peterson, Florida State's Jimbo Fisher, Clemson's Dabo Swinney, by the way. That ain't happening. And former Oregon coach Chip Kelly. Of that group, Patterson seems like the most realistic option at Texas A&M if Texas A&M wants a coach with Texas ties. Don't be surprised if the school explores NFL candidates like former Broncos and Texans coach Gary Kubiak. No, not what you do. Not what you do. Who may have NFL head coaching opportunities in this cycle. Another name to keep in mind, and it will surprise you, Arizona State's Todd Graham. Well, Todd Graham entered the season on the hot seat. He could finish 8-4. His Texas roots run deep, and he has 5 10-win seasons, only 2 losing regular seasons in a career that spans 4 stops. So they bring him up. They also bring in that Chip Kelly is going to get a lot of interest at a number of jobs. The one that seems to make the most amount of sense would be UCLA. Some of the chatter centers around Scott Frost at UCF going to the University of Florida, which is a name we've heard a lot of. And Tom, and you and I were talking before the show about how we were kind of surprised to hear that Jeremy Foley is still helping or is advising the University of Florida in his current role. He's not the AD, obviously, but that would seem to suggest then that Dan Mullen would not be going to Florida, as those two do not get along.
Yeah, I found that curious. Obviously, Spurrier is still kind of involved in a tertiary way, but
a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, he'll walk into the offensive meetings and suggest some things,
Not what you do.
Yeah, man. It's if I'm a Florida fan reading that,
I don't like it.
As a Florida State fan reading,
I'm like, yeah,
okay,
yeah. All of you guys yell at each other. Have fun with that.
Nothing happens.
Yeah,
okay.
Everybody can scream at each other about what they think should be happening.
Sure. Though, if you're the guy in the Texas A&M meeting that suggests Gary Kubiak,
get the hell out of our meeting.
No Kubiak for us, man.
Well, when I read it, I went, man, could anything sound more depressing to a Texas A&M fan than to have them go, ladies and gentlemen, we know you expect championships. Here at Texas A&M, we do too. We've waited long enough, and that's why we now hand over the keys to our great program to Gary Kubiak.
Turn down for what?
And oh no, we're going to suck again. That's exactly what you would say, right? That's just immediately you'd go, well, that has no chance to work. It doesn't matter if Gary Kubiak is an offensive genius. He's not going to win here at A&M, and you know it and I know it. You don't even have to have a real good reason other than you just know. Sometimes that's kind of sad, and I know that it's not necessarily a sound way to go about debating. But sometimes you just know, and I'm telling you, when the words or the name Gary Kubiak rolls off the tongue, people don't go, that could work. I think instead they go, this has no shot in hell of working.
Well, listen here, Hunter. I hear your suggestion about Kubiak, and my response to you is leave the checkbook but sign the checks.
Yeah.
And we'll take it from here, buddy.
Yeah. No chance. I mean, if you're an A&M grad, you'd go, Gary F. and Kubiak, huh? That's what we're doing? Gary Kubiak?
Can't wait to be the 12th man for him.
That's good. The inspiration, I feel it. I can't wait. All right, Gary Kubiak, lead us to titles.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
No, not going to happen. So those names, again, in order that they wrote them, take it for what it's worth. Gary Patterson, good coach. Chris Peterson, good coach. Florida State's Jimbo Fisher, good coach. Followed by Clemson's Dabo Swinney, good coach. Is not going to leave Clemson for Texas A&M. Former Oregon coach Chip Kelly, Yeah.
You really want to go with Chip Kelly after what you just ran out there? You want to do the whole...
I wouldn't go...
Let's get faster even on offense.
No, I don't think I would do that. he can work somewhere, though. He's a good college coach. Chip Kelly is.
Maybe if you're Oregon State, you give him a call.
That would be interesting, right? The Oregon State job is said to be obviously one that a few guys might be mentioned for, including Les Miles' old ass, taking him out there to Oregon State. But the point of me bringing any of this up is we are at that point in the year, and I do love the coaching carousel discussion. I always think it's fun to have these things and talk about what's possible, what's an outside fringe possibility for some of these places. There are intra-league moves that occur, for example, in the SEC. Some thoughts are that Dan Mullen won't take the Florida job, won't even be offered the Florida job, but instead leave Mississippi State for Tennessee.
That would be curious.
Yeah,
I think that's a good hire for Tennessee.
I think it is too. And while listen, I don't think Tennessee, when everybody's operating at peak efficiency, that is to say Alabama and Florida and Georgia and LSU and Auburn, when everybody's playing at their best and everybody is properly utilizing their investments in infrastructure and alumni base, Tennessee's not necessarily where you want to be. I'd rather be at Florida or Georgia or Alabama or LSU or
I just want to know where Kirk Ferentz is going to go.
He's sticking right there.
There he is.
Double middle fingers to everybody. Don't you worry about me.
Here comes another extension.
I got another extension. I just beat the brakes off of Ohio State. I'll be here for another 25 years after that win.
Oh, enjoy your Papa John's, Irby. There you go. I got a golf cart for you.
Oh, man. That was something to behold.
I couldn't believe it because you watch the flow of those games. And
I've watched Iowa a lot this year. And, I watched them lose to Northwestern, and I've seen them play,
Well, they go score for score, and then there's a lull in the middle of the game. Ohio State's winning the field position battle. Ohio State has all the momentum. I think they're crossing midfield. And then there's a huge sack on the defense makes a huge play.
Well, when your quarterback throws 4 picks in a game, it's going to hurt your feelings a little bit.
Well, and speaking of huge sacks, their quarterback played very, very well in Iowa.
I'm very impressed with that right in there, my friend. When Northwestern beat Iowa in overtime 17-10, you were left with little evidence to believe that the Hawkeye team that scored 10 points in a game that went to overtime would somehow then drop 55 on Ohio State. 55.
That's something akin to the Louisville game for us last year, is it not? I mean, come on. That's an unranked Iowa team. They don't have Lamar Jackson. What the hell are we doing here in Columbus?
Should be noted that old Iowa did beat Iowa State earlier this year.
That's right.
Iowa's like, Kirk Ferentz is like, come on, everybody.
That was a good game in retrospect.
Come on over to the Iowa party, boys. But again, if you were looking for evidence of that kind of explosive outcome, on the 28th, Iowa scored 17 points in defeating Minnesota, 17-10. On the 4th, 1 week later, they scored 55 in beating Ohio State. Oh, by the way, previous to the 17 against Minnesota a week ago, the week before they had scored 10 against Northwestern. So,
come get you some, Wisconsin.
Damn, Urban. Iowa 10 and 17 points respectively against Northwestern and Minnesota. And here's 55 for that ass.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month, Rickard's Nydia Donaldson, is now qualified as a finalist for the Dale Jr. $2,500 End of the Year Scholarship. To help support our friends at Dale Jr., check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
Seminole Headlines, presented by Capital City Bank.
You're damn right.
Catch Jeff Corey and Ira each Tuesday night from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Contact your local CenturyLink retail store to enter for a chance to win the CenturyLink Ultimate Football Fan Experience, which includes a trip to the biggest game of the year. For eligibility and official rules, go to CenturyLinkFanForLife.com/FAQ. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This Day in Sports History.
November 8th, 1970. Kicker Tom Dempsey of the New Orleans Saints, who was born without toes on his kicking foot, kicked a 63-yard game-winning field goal. It would go down as the longest kick in NFL history. Dempsey's record still stands to this day, although it has since been matched by Jason Elam, Sebastian Janikowski, and David Akers.
It's that time of year again where you have to shop for the naughty and the nice. Make it easy. Superlube it and get rewarded with a free oil change. Right now, visit any of the 19 area Superlube locations, buy 3 oil changes, and get one free. Keep it or give that free oil change to a car lover on your list. Hurry in and make shopping easy with a free oil change from Superlube. You'll be glad you did.
They change my oil in just 10 minutes. Boy, this place is sure convenient. How I love to Superlube my car, lube my car. How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Doctors operated on Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson's right knee today. He tore his ACL in practice last week. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports doctors did not find any additional damage to that knee. Teddy Bridgewater is now off the PUP list and on the active roster for the Vikings. He's trying to come back from a dislocated knee. To make room on the roster, the Vikings put Sam Bradford on injured reserve, ending his season. ESPN's Brady Henderson reports defensive end Dion Jordan will likely be activated for tomorrow night's game against the Cardinals. After injuries and suspensions, Jordan's last NFL game was back in 2014. UCLA basketball players LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill won't play in Friday's opener against Georgia Tech. They're now out on bail after being accused of shoplifting at a Louis Vuitton store in Hangzhou, China. Basketball Hall of Famer Bob Knight says he has never been a Wooden fan. Talking about fellow Hall of Famer John Wooden, Knight says on Audience's Undeniable with Joe Buck that he did respect Wooden as a coach.
Sports Center is brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, Wednesday through Saturday, select Dockers signature khakis are just $36.99. Or get 50% off select Arizona and St. John's Bay apparel. Plus, get $10 off with coupon when you spend $25 or more. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You all right over there?
I'd forgotten we already did the ticket giveaway.
Oh, yeah, buddy. I got you covered. I did the Rockville giveaway some time ago.
It was caller 2. Yeah.
Now I remember. A while ago. That was hour 3. That was the first hour, in the 3 o'clock hour.
I've just been so entranced and lost in this discussion about the future of the program, I forgot what day it was.
Well, here, I'll take a sharp turn right here for you just because I think this is kind of cool. So, a little John Quincy Adams information here for you. A daguerreotype surfaced in an antique shop in 1970, priced at 50 cents. You know what a daguerreotype is? Did you have photography class?
No, sir.
Well, then there you go. It's an obsolete photographic process. It was invented in the 1800s, I think, like 1830-something. That's what it is. That's what I remember it being, anyhow. Somebody who's an expert photographer is going to go, Cameron, you got that wrong, but I don't think I'm too off there. That's daguerreotype.
What was it like when it was invented? How much did it change your world?
So anyhow, a daguerreotype, which was found in a shop in 1970 and priced at 50 cents, was that of John Quincy Adams. And it sits currently in the National Portrait Gallery, where it laid claim to being the oldest surviving original photograph of an American president. Now, you know I love this kind of stuff, Tom. Finding things for next to nothing turns out to be like the greatest find ever. Like, look at this. It's an original copy of the Declaration of Independence. This is amazing. But now, an older and more flattering daguerreotype of Adams, America's 6th president, has surfaced, and it's going to be sold at Sotheby's. How about that? It carries an it's an estimate of carries a price of around $150,000 to $250,000. It was taken in a Washington portrait studio in March of 1843.
Wow.
That's freaking awesome.
Nate Andrews' freshman season.
When Adams was in the middle of his post-presidential career in Congress, he gave it as a gift to a fellow representative. If you ever give me a picture of yourself, Tom, I would think that was awfully odd.
That's a very Jim Nance thing to do.
Here.
Merry Christmas, friend.
He gave it to a representative whose descendants kept it in the family while losing track of its significance along the way. And just there it was in a damn... That just makes me angry.
$250,000, maybe.
Yeah. Emily Bierman, the head of Sotheby's photograph department, called it without a doubt the most important historical photo portrait to be offered at auction in the last 20 years. Not only is it an incredible, important historical document, it's also a stunning composition. You really get a sense of who John Quincy Adams was. Now, I will tell you this. Claims of historical precedents tend to come with caveats and asterisks. And it must be noted that the daguerreotype, so-called half plate measuring about 5 inches by 4 inches, is not technically the earliest photographic image of an American president. See, I couldn't just throw this out there and not give you
checks and balances.
That's right.
Here.
That's right. That honor, if few others, belongs to William Henry Harrison. How much do you know about William Henry Harrison? Probably not a lot, and that's okay. You know why?
He was assassinated.
Well, he had a daguerreotype taken in 1841, and no, he died of an uncertain illness just 32 days into his term. Had he been assassinated, you would have remembered that.
Your dad's very mad if he's listening right now.
Yeah.
Come on, Thomas. You're better than that.
32 days in office, my man died, and they still don't know what it was. Just up and died. Like, well, it's a mysterious illness. Back then, mysterious illnesses killed people left and right.
I'm going to go with the vice president.
The image is not known to survive. A startlingly lifelike daguerreotype showing Harrison, made by the Boston Photography Studios, Southworth and Hawes around 1850, and now at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where I've been, is a reproduction of an oil portrait, not of a photograph. And Adams himself was first photographed in 1842 by the Boston photographer John Plum Jr. We're still looking for those images. They appear to be lost. Can't find them. The newly surfaced Adams daguerreotype also does not offer an entirely fresh view of the man. The same penetrating gaze, heavily whiskered jaw, and elegant. Yeah, hey, there you go. So he also had his socks on there, and his pants come up, and you can see his goofy socks that he's wearing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What?
All right.
Adams, who sat for more than 60 portraits over the course of his life, was intrigued by the uncanny likenesses produced by the new medium of photography, even if it wasn't always charming results. In his diary, 1843, he recorded his first visit to Washington studio of Philip Haas, where he sat for 3 daguerreotypes, and he also didn't like it. He talked about how it was kind of annoying to have to sit there and get your picture taken. All right, Adams, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed, buddy. There you were at the ground floor of photography going, this kind of sucks. I could be doing some things. It's a busy time, guys.
I could use a selfie stick.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Every time you go somewhere and you got that family member who's like, oh, hold on, we got to take a picture. You and Adams just sitting there seething. We could just enjoy the moment for the moment's sake. We don't have to take a picture. We could be doing things.
170 years of tradition right there. Stewing.
Dudes pissed off about having to sit and take a picture. Chef Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories. Stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Football season is in full swing, and so is AAA One Transmission. AAA One Transmission is locally owned and operated by Tim Pridgett, who's been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 37 years. Brakes, transmissions, electrical systems, tune-ups, and battery checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA One Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
Hey, handsome, what's happening?
I'm ready for a beer, my man. How are you?
I am fantastic. This weather is beautiful.
Perfect, and I have a question for you. Snow cone or candy apple?
Ooh, both are sticky.
Both are tasty.
Candy apple.
No, that's the wrong answer. Halloween or Thanksgiving?
Ooh, one is sweet and the other one's savory. I'm going Thanksgiving.
Again, 16 Candles or Back to the Future?
Oh, my goodness. John Hughes or what's that boy's name? Marty McFly? I'm going 16 Candles.
Papa Grande with a Gordo smash. And by the way, I want that. Or a mountain of delicious croquetas, also with a Gordo smash.
Trick question. Either way, you're not going to lose.
Exactamundo, my brother. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Redemption Thursday on The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by FranksAutoWorld.com. Ranked by car gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at FranksAutoWorld.com.
Need help moving? Two Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit twomen.com or call them at 850-224-2232. Two Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
You're locked in with The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Wrapping up Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lightning. That's going to be good. We'll get a chance to watch the Lightning tonight.
Forgot to do the Lightning Minute for the Scuttlebucks earlier today.
Son of a gun. Got to do more. Well, you'll have plenty of minutes to diverge over into Lightning talk, away from Bucks talk to Lightning talk. Yeah. I ain't going to be talking about the Bucks too much.
Man, entering play last night, Mikhail Sergachev, who was on the other end of the Drouin deal, has more goals, 4-3. More points, 14-13, than Jonathan
Damn right
Drouin.
he does, baby.
And that's not his job. He's got a better plus-minus, too. He's +6. So
Get you some.
That's a nice trade, Mr. Steve Yzerman.
Well, it's not like we don't trust Steve Yzerman, buddy. I mean, we know.
Yeah. We had a superstar player whose number hangs in the rafters who said, I only want to go to one team. And I don't want to be on your team. And yet he somehow swung a deal that was for the ages.
Celebration, baby.
It's nice to have an organization that's run well, makes good decisions top to bottom, and they're rewarded for it on the playing surface.
Let's do, I agree with you. Let's do What's on Tap.
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
Lightning hockey. We just got done talking about it to be Lightning hockey. That's what's going to be on tap. Also, should be noted, in addition to Lightning hockey tonight, we'll have, that's what's on tap for Tom and myself. But for you, the listener, Front Row Knowles is coming up next. How about that? A little Front Row Knowles action.
That's right. Yeah.
With my man, Tim Linnefeld.
He has I like the little segment they do every single week, which is they ask him over-unders and ask him to predict things.
It's a great segment.
They play the match game music, and then they give him the buzzer or the ding-ding-ding if he gets it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good times.
It is a good time. And I'm always interested in hearing all of these shows and people in the know when talking about a team that's great or one that's terrible, because everything in between we all handle pretty well, but it's the extremes that are awfully fun to monitor. And so I'm wondering tonight what angle they take. It is after a win, so there is that angle, but it's short-lived because it's a rather ominous stretch of days that lead to this game against Clemson on Saturday.
Yes. Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's problematic. So it's something that you worry about and that you worry about with each passing day. And I want to get the tenor. I want to hear the tone when we get to Front Row Knowles. Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company for sponsoring What's on Tap. Proof Brewing Company since 2007, offering Tallahassee's finest craft beer selections at their massive tap room in Railroad Square Art Park. Good times over there, by the way, especially when the weather's really nice. Sit outside there, chill out, drink some of that delicious Proof.
Hey, buddy, the whatever front it is rolling in tomorrow, and it's not going to be as cold as it was a couple of weeks ago.
Damn it!
But certainly the temperatures are not going to be in the 80s for at least the foreseeable future during the day.
It's a good thing. It's a glorious thing. You know, with a season like this, it feels like are people not going to answer the phone while we're on the air? Is that how this is going to work?
I guess so.
I mean, I don't know if you listeners can hear it, but probably not. and I'm overreacting. But as we do the show,
somebody, they want those Rockville tickets or something.
Jesus, we gave them away already, people. Enough out of you. Stop calling.
The daily confidence level.
1 will not rise any higher than 1. It's a
even with the news that Jock Patrick is cleared to go.
He doesn't make a difference in this game. 0, none, nada, no chance. How about this? We're going to shift the daily confidence meter to resemble, or at least, I guess, we'll gauge it based on over/under our offensive ability to score 7 points. Like confidence meter being more than 7 or under 7 points.
The daily confidence level.
1 under.
Really?
How are we going to score?
First downs, and then we'll actually complete a pass when there's not a first down to be had because the end zone's in the way, and that's a touchdown.
Yeah, but more than once?
Yes. Well, we'll kick a field goal. There you go. There's a field goal and a touchdown. There's 10 points.
You really think we can score 10 points against Clemson? How? On just a long bomb?
Couple of yards here, couple of yards, maybe a short field.
Because you don't really believe that we're going to generate sustained offensive drives. I mean, nobody believes that because we can't do that against teams that are far worse than Clemson. We won't be able to block that up. All I really want more than anything else is for us to be able to get out of there without James Blackman being seriously hurt, and I mean that. I mean, I don't. How is this offensive line, which has devolved to a place now which is well below even the substandard level they were playing at due to injury, in addition to when they were healthy they were substandard. Now they're injured. What are we against that defensive line? No, I mean I'm really worried for him. Jimbo, in fairness, has called a good game against Clemson time and again. Brent Venables' defense in particular, he's done a good job against a formidable foe in these situations, even when he didn't have an ideal situation in place. You go all the way back to when Trickett had to start on the road up there. We moved the football extremely well. Sean McGuire, his team was in a position if he hadn't screwed it up, and I like Sean, but I mean that's a terrible pick that he throws in the first half of that game in the red zone. Obviously, we scored early with Dalvin's long run. I mean, there were some things. He's done a good job against this Clemson last year. Obviously, they lit it up. So I do have faith in Jimbo, the play caller, an awful lot. I just don't have faith in this offensive line. I don't necessarily have faith in the true freshman quarterback going up there and dealing with a real live atmosphere. I mean, think about what he's been on the road to do. He's had to play Wake on the road. He's had to play Duke on the road and Boston College. It's a nothing atmosphere.
Well, but to me, I think the thing that's important here is I don't know how many checks you want him to make at the line of scrimmage. I'm talking about communications to the receivers, to declarations. Like, it's got to be as minimal as possible. You don't want to give him freedom, I don't think, this weekend.
I agree with
that.
The
play we call is the play we're running. And if it doesn't work, well, let's put the ball on the foot of Logan Tyler and see if he can boot 160 yards. Note about Tyler is that when he rolls to his left when he's punting, that's usually when the boomer is coming out.
Well, he's left-footed, right?
Yes, but I mean, I'm talking about there is a distinct difference that I've noticed that if he gets that little start, it's almost like a directional
rugby kick,
yeah, rugby style. Man, the ball comes off his foot with the thud, and it goes the extra 10 to 15 yards, and field position is going to matter greatly if you care to be in this game in the second half.
I love that here we are on a Balls McWednesday, waning moments of the program, and you are still talking about this game and efforting to break this game down as if it's a game that we will be in, Tom, and I'm not slighting you. I'm not taking shots at you. That is legitimate, what you're doing, and maybe shame on me for not being able to do it. I give them no chance to be in this game. I don't see a way that they're competitive in this football game because I don't believe that all of the coaches are checked in. So if all of the coaches aren't locked in, I can't expect my team to be. And I know Clemson's going to play hard, and they've got really good players. And that defensive line is very talented, and our offensive line is not. And thus, I don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I'd love to be tail tucked between the legs on Monday. How about that performance, guys? But I don't know how that's possible.
Well, you need Clemson to help you a little bit. You need them to play. You need them to play as though it's the Pitt game last year. I mean, that's what you need out of Clemson, and then we can start to have a discussion about whether or not it's still going to be a game or not. But at the same time, college football can be bat-you-know-what crazy.
It can, and there is talent on this team. So the guy yelling at his radio right now going, guys, Jeff, we're not Furman. I mean, we've got some players. Yeah, well, we had players against BC. We've got players. I got you. But if they're not all locked in, if they're all not focused on playing together, playing for each other, playing hard all the time, and knowing and understanding what we're asking them to do, and coaches are all looking over their shoulder, I just don't think we're in a very good place to play this game. You can get by against a Syracuse. You can get by against, if you cared to play, BC, we didn't care to play, but Duke, you got by. Wake, you got by. But this is a whole other animal. And I do think that they will be locked and loaded, ready to play.
Well, I think
meaning Clemson.
I think it depends who your left guard is, too. I mean, that's a big damn deal. If it's Kelly, then I think you got a better chance to accomplish some things, make some things interesting. Hell, even flipping the field is important. Not just about, Tyler, booming the ball, but getting to the 50-yard line and then pinning them inside their own 15, 10-yard line. And then, if they achieve 2 first downs, you're still getting the ball back rather than short field line drive kick touchdown and it's 7-0 and here we go.
Yeah, because you're saying the other thing that I'm thinking, which is that if we don't get out to a lead to start this game, look out. If this is 14-0 Clemson in the second quarter, buckle up.
I think you do
hold on to your butts.
I honestly do think you get a little bump from the win, though. It's in the players' minds.
Maybe.
You get a little confidence bump, but it's imperative for that reason that, yes.
Yeah, you got to go out there and maybe they take that and let's say you scheme it up. And Jimbo is, I've always said, a very good play caller. I don't have a problem with his play calling. I don't. I never have. He schemes it up, scripted. We come out, we make a few plays, and we get on the board. We send a message that we're here to play like we did in 2015. And it's going to be a game. You're going to have to be out here focused and playing. Maybe you then get everybody all in, and maybe the fact that Kelly Bryant's really struggled to throw the football down the field with any degree of accuracy or consistency. So maybe.
Well, it's in this defense to play like it did against Alabama. That's certainly what you need there. I would footnote one thing, and I know exactly what you're saying about Jimbo's play calling. But the game plans, which we rightly, and you did too, criticize from the BC game and the Louisville game.
The Louisville game in particular, I don't know what the hell we were doing.
Man, you can't have that moment where you're going to go 4 or 5 wide and have Blackman win you the game, in theory.
Not going to happen. You also don't need to be at the shotgun 75% of the time against this group. No. Get down under center, line up.
So in that sense, the play calling, it needs to tighten up for this weekend's
play big.
game.
I want the Duke game plan. Roll them out, play action, buy a little time. Cut the field in half.
If Patrick's good to go, too, now you got your 1-2 punch back.
That's what you do. There it is. Good work out of you, sir. Good work, Matthew. To those that called repeatedly over and over and over again, we appreciate it, kind of. And for those that listened, we always appreciate that. Thank you so much. Be well. Have a great night. And Front Row Knowles. That's up next. Hang in.